Yo, what is up, people? This is gonna be a long one today, folks. Hopefully, you guys are down for it. Oh, I just found out I ran out of water. That sucks.
Run now. Go get some water now.
We'll see. Well, maybe Corey will call to tell me, hey man, just to let you know I'm still breathing. Anyways, guys, I'm not making fun of him. I promise, I'm not. But my God, the show was already late, and it's still. I was like, man, if he's saying 10 o'clock CST, that means it's not gonna change again. Everything's cool. He's like, no, 10:15. So people are gonna be with us for a while, but it's all good. We got a lot of stuff to talk about. As far as this one particular show goes, I got a new mouse. Every time I scroll down, it goes up. Like so, everything got loud at the end there, but it's all good. I've been ran through the ringer today, so.
Really?
Yeah. I won't get into a whole thing. We're not going to talk about it or anything, but I'm just going to let you guys know there's going to be lots of fucking up here, and there's, like, so many bad luck things where it's, like, I feel like if I type in the Boys trailer, it's going to show, like, the Good Boys from, like, 2019, that fucking movie with those little kids doing shit.
I never
like,
watched that shit.
No, neither did I, but I'm just saying, like, everything just seems to be fucking going wrong, and I'm telling you, the fact that we're streaming, I know the fuck for sure that's going to go wrong even more so, but we're going to have fun with it. If shit goes wrong, let's just have some fun. It's what it is. It is what it is. Fucking whatever. Mercio says Elvis is being 3 hours long of a movie. What the fuck? That movie does not need to be 3 hours long, although there is quite a bit of a story when it comes to that. But before I continue on talking
Apparently that movie's terrible.
We'll see, man. But before we get into all those talks and all those discussions and everything, first of all, Jet, how are you doing?
Yes.
I like that. It doesn't have nothing to do with what we're doing, but that Mac and Me thing, like, that's probably my favorite one that you've had so far. The Avatar.
It's E.T.
Yeah, that's not E.T. No, they wish they were fucking E.T. Blackie Chan, what's up, dude? How's it going, buddy? Hopefully you can hang out with us for quite a bit today. You know, we're probably gonna do a show that's probably about an hour long. Alan's gonna be leaving kind of soon and early. Well, I say soon and early, but you know, as much as we got to talk about this fucking show, I don't know. But and by the way, just so you know, Alan, we're gonna do this episodically as far as the reviews go. We're gonna do episode 1, then episode 2, then episode 3, then episode 4.
Sure.
Because doing it all in a wrap up thing, there's just way too much going on. That's kind of impossible.
Yeah.
But how are you doing, man?
Just started working, so my feet are fucking killing me, and just basically like what did the last 2 days, 2 10-hour shifts. So yeah, it's been fucking grueling, but besides that, it's been good.
Okay, that's good. But yeah, dude, it's not too confused or anything. Nothing too fucking like, oh god, like because I would imagine ever having a new job, it's just like nerves the entire fucking time.
It still is. It's mostly just kind of like because a lot of my job is standing around right now.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm standing around and I'm helping out, and it's like I was standing around for like 5 hours. I got a couple breaks, but it's like I'm standing for 5 fucking hours. Though what was it yesterday? I fucking watched the during this time watched the Hustle that Adam Sandler movie. Fantastic.
Really, I'm glad to know that because like it's obviously a sports movie, so I'm kind of like who knows, but like him doing shit, especially with the Safdie brothers again. I believe that is Safdie brothers. I could be wrong.
I'm not sure, but it's definitely the same energy where it's like I'd say it's not as dark, but it's more of a sports biopic. But yeah, Adam Sandler seriousness plus basketball subplot seems to be a really like solid winner.
Yeah, man, and he really likes basketball quite a bit. Like,
because it's the fucking Uncut Gems. That's like the subplot of the movie. This is all related to I keep forgetting the basketball player's name, but like it's a basketball subplot.
Yeah, Max Poker, bro. What's up, dude? How you doing, Max Conde? Hopefully you're gonna be in Austin and everything. We're gonna be there July 9th.
January 9th.
There's 3 J's in the fucking year calendar there. So
yeah, there is actually, yeah.
But it'd be what it'd be. But yeah, dude, July 9th is going to be fun as fuck. As a matter of fact, I should probably get the Eventbrite up for that. I'll find it later. If you guys want to post in the chat, go ahead. I know Ryan probably has it. Marissa says, a heavy mask and logo at the beginning does not imply that it's a comedy. Yeah, which is funny considering the fact that, like, every time I see that, I think, like, it's not going to be a comedy, it's a stupid comedy.
At this point, it kind of does. There's, like, what, 3 or 4 maybe that aren't? Like, when 90% of your movies are comedies, it's kind of going to be implied it's a comedy.
Yeah, pretty much. But just so you guys know, later on we're going to be talking about a couple topics. I want to talk about Justin Lin, the One Punch Man situation, and Joker 2. So we'll save that for later.
Oh, man. I laughed my ass off when I fucking heard that shit because I can't wait to talk about that.
Yeah, we'll talk about that later. But firstly, man, I want to get into the boys pretty much as soon as humanly fucking possible. Really quick. So let me pull up a picture here because I want to do so there was something I was spoiled with the trailer, by the way. Like a big spoiler that you don't really know about until like episode 3, and I was like, okay, let me just not show any trailer footage because if you guys can complain about our spoilers, holy fuck, this show is like I don't give a fuck.
I think I watched 1 trailer maybe, so I think if I did see it, I don't remember.
But yeah, wow, I can't even I can't even pull up fucking pictures. God damn. It's gonna be a
Put
fun
up a
show.
picture of a man's throbbing erection. People will get it.
Yeah,
There we
but
go.
there's enough there for that shit. They constantly put that fucking up. Like there's sex jokes all over this fucking thing. But yeah, dude, the boys. So this is not like a bit about anything, whatever. We're just doing a recap of this, and I say a recap because I was hoping for us to do a very, very small, very, very short version of a review, whatever. But like that's gonna be impossible with these. There's so much here. So if we are rambling or if we're saying a lot, I'm sorry. We might even say a couple of spoilers. I have like some notes written down here that is gonna help me kind of like go through this without saying spoilers. But there's a couple things that like things happen in episode 1 that are like the full fucking episode of 3. So like
Yeah.
yeah, there's some shit you just cannot talk about without it being there. So if you guys care enough, man, get the fuck out of here. You got one last minute. Go. I want to ruin this for you because it is pretty good. I'll say that. And actually, I'll spoil what I think of this. Overall, I think that this is a recommended watch for anyone who likes comic book movies or shows or whatever. And as far as the boys fans, they will fucking love this. So it is what it is. But basically, the season returns 1 year after Stormfront's madness in that last season. Which, by the way, like is it? I mean, other than Homelander, I think Stormfront's been like the most like aggravating character where you just fucking want to see her die so bad. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and it's
Yeah.
weird because like you see her, and that's my biggest issue with season 2. Because I'm gonna be real, I did not like season 2 because I felt like they build up Homelander as such this big holy shit, he's a problem. To him, just kind of twiddling his thumbs and being mad he's not getting. They basically pulled Anakin and fucking Reddit. He's just mad he's not getting a promotion, and he's just kind of like,
Yeah.
oh, that sucks. I wish I was
Bullshit.
like most powerful person ever. It's like and they focus on Stormfront, which is fine because she's compelling as a villain, but I'm like, y'all just forgot like half your cast because like half the cast just kind of sits around. This isn't so bad. And then at the last episode, suddenly everything goes up, and I'm like, season 2 kind of sucked.
Well, in season 3, like basically it's been a year after all that
Yeah.
happened, and her madness is like it was shown to the public, like everyone knows about this now. And
Yeah.
Butcher and the rest of the crew are essentially working as contractors for a Bureau of Superhero Affairs, to basically punish and/or control other soups that are misbehaving. And
Pretty
Huey,
much, they're cops, so they're basically like, hey, this soup's kind of causing a lot of issues. We're gonna go capture them in whatever way we can.
yeah, and Huey's basically their liaison. Like he's essentially their
Yeah.
contact with people that are, in the know of said behaviors of asshole superheroes. And then Annie, Starlight. I don't know what to call them sometimes because like Annie is such a character to the point like when like with Batman you want to bring up shit Bruce Wayne, but then you want to bring him up with Batman, and they're the same person, but they feel very separate because the
Yeah, there are
storylines.
very few
so
heroes
much-
you can really do that. I think you end it with Starlight, people will be like, yeah, that's Starlight. I mean, yeah, like Annie, oh yeah, right, Starlight.
Yeah, but Starlight is offered this co-captaincy of the Seven to rebuild the reputation of Vought, or Vought. Am I saying it right?
Vought.
Okay.
Yeah, it's Vought.
Because I always want to say rough, like Voft. How rough is Rough.
Yeah, I get it. English language is confusing.
But yeah, when I see it, because I have it, like, what's the name of them? Vault. But yeah, so
They're basically more successful Umbrella.
Oh God, yeah, you're right. But obviously Homelander's pissed about that and like all jealous and everything, just like how he was in season 2. All the while, Stan Edgar, the boss of this operation of craziness, is trying to sell V24, which is a new variant of Compound V. And we find out later in the episode that there's a group called Payback, and then Mev secretly tries to do a link up with Billy Butcher, asking him to look them up because there's some things to find out about the death of their leader, Soldier Boy.
They got my boy Jensen Ackles in this fucking season.
Yeah, and dude, I'm looking at this, I'm like, just think about that. Like, this is like 12, 15 minutes into the episode, and we got storyline about Soldier Boy, which we haven't even seen yet. We got a group called Payback. We got the Bureau of fucking superhero affairs.
Yeah.
We got the boys. We got Homelander and his shit, and then we got that Nazi bitch from the last season. It's like, dude, like, what the fuck?
Well,
like,
because they're trying to basically, because the first episode is very, very dense. It was weird because I honestly, legitimately almost just didn't watch the show, especially not necessarily the scene with the penis, because I'm like, okay, that was fine, whatever. Not necessarily fine, but like when that happened, I'm like, okay, they set it up enough. It wasn't necessarily a jump scare, but something that, especially with season 2, where it's just like, how am I supposed to pay attention when there's so much density of storytelling? Where I'm like, I'm just worried someone halfway through their dialogue is gonna explode into a pile of meat. I legitimately was like, I can't fucking whatever. I just don't want to fucking deal with this shit anymore. Because the thing about The Boys is, as much as it's a very interesting narrative show, because it's very much like they even do like Snyder Cut reference and whatever. They're very much like meta narrative of not only superhero but celebrity. That's what it's always been. It's very, very heavily story based, but they get off on the amount of gore they're allowed to show because this is probably the goriest thing out there. I really can't imagine anything that will go into as much detail as consistently with how people are just being torn apart. And to me, it's like I don't like that shit. That's why one of the reasons I don't like horror movies. I want to watch a narrative. I don't want to watch people get ripped apart. This is probably one of the only shows where I will stomach it because it shows the consequences of unchecked power in a way that if the show was PG-13, it probably wouldn't resonate as much because you wouldn't be as afraid of what Homelander is going to do, or you wouldn't understand how much power all these individuals have if you're not seeing people die really fucking hard in the show.
Yeah. And we'll get into all that too because there's just I'm just going on synopsis stuff just so you guys because I know people are gonna be in the chat like, well, I actually forgot to bring up like no, I make sure to write
There's
everything
so
down.
much to bring up. I'm sure we've got something.
Yeah, but you know, they find out that there is some things to know about like the death of this leader, Soldier Boy of Payback, whatever. And there's a chance of them finding a secret weapon if they keep looking into this situation with Soldier Boy. They can find out this thing called BCL Red, which is essentially their only chance of killing Homelander because that's Billy's
BFG
whole
9000.
Yeah. Pretty much. A big fucking gun for Doom fans out there that don't know. But the big thing here is that you know, is Butcher actually going to be able to talk to them? Is he going to be able to control his shitty fucking attitude and not like cause more issues because he's such an annoying motherfucker? Or will they find this weapon and this whole new Compound V thing? You know, who might actually have their hands on it currently? Like, I mean, if Stan Edgar has it, is he going to take it? Is he going to give it to Homelander? Because maybe Homelander can take even more Compound V and get more. Like, you never know.
It's weird because he's a Stan Edgar. I keep forgetting his actor's name. They actually give him a lot to do this season, at least the first 4 episodes.
It's passive, but it's like it's important.
But a situation where it's like last season he had like what 5 minutes maybe total screen time over the course of the season, and it's a simple like I'm just gonna be very calm and just almost not necessarily Snoop Dogg, but very like to the point where he never raises his voice, he never gets angry. He even says that as much as season 2. It's like, you know, anger, outrage is a white man's, you know, commodity. That's not mine. But you start seeing it's like you can understand why he's able to control Homelander. He's not afraid. Like he's probably like, look, Homelander can fucking murder me in 2 seconds, but you know what? Fuck you, bro. I'm like, this is my fucking company. You're gonna listen to me. And you start to see Homelander really break down in this first episode. You start to see he's like, okay, this is where we're going now. Because the last season he just kind of twiddled his thumbs, and you're like, is he gonna snap? And it's like nothing ever fucking happens until the last episode. This one you're like, okay, no. We're getting this character on a fucking arc. This arc is he stopped giving a shit. He's at the point where he literally might murder the entirety of humanity if he fucking feels like it. That's why I'm glad they're introducing the I guess the quote unquote kryptonite. Because if they introduce this in season 1 and be like, okay, cool, you just immediately set this up. It's like, no, they wait like 2 seasons, be like, you know what? Maybe we have something that can stop this guy. Because you start realizing the rest of the superheroes in this universe are manageable. You know, they have weaknesses, they can get shot. For the most part, they're able to take stuff, but they can be taken down. Except for Homelander. Homelander is the only one that's so far above everybody that if he goes, the rest of the world might be a little bit better off because everyone else is manageable. They have weaknesses that are the you know regular people can exploit and keep under control, except for Homelander. But if they have this weapon now, they might actually be able to like level the playing field.
Yo, Blaze, I'm looking in the chat too. Just want to say what's up to everybody. But yeah, no, and those things, I mean, we'll talk more about them too, but like, yeah, I completely agree with pretty much every single thing you said in the sense of like how they handle that Compound V thing and whatever's going to happen with Homelander. And obviously, you know, we're probably not going to find out everything about, we're not going to find out everything there is to know about that within episode 1. And I'm going to spoil something for you guys right now too. You don't find out really in episode 2, 3, or 4. So that's going to be happening. I mean, they're going to say that as the overall overarching season, like,
if it's real.
If it's even real. But to start off, man, the episode opens up with this Dawn of the Seven movie thing that was full of stuff that would make me laugh because I don't like comic book movies and the industry and all that shit. But I gotta tell you, it was pretty cheesy, and I feel like the jokes were a little lazy.
Yeah, sometimes they definitely the jokes, especially like the first episode, or just in this franchise, like sometimes they like, okay, we get exactly like the girls get it done. We know that's a reference to Endgame's fucking, you know, girl walk. And this one, it's like, yeah, literally like, oh, you know, restore the whatever cut. It's like, yeah, we know exactly what you're going for, but it's like it's done well enough. And I'm like, wait, is that Charlize Theron? Holy shit, they got her in this.
Yeah. What you call it? Actually, just take a break. Cause, I mean, I don't want us to talk the entire time, and I know that Jet didn't watch this, but I do think that her opinion does matter in a certain sense right here. Jet, what did you feel when the boys actually did those things where they made fun of like comic book movies that are real, like the whole like making fun of Justice League stuff and things like that? Did you like that stuff, Jet?
I wish I could have unmuted myself in time so I could say no, she doesn't. No, it doesn't. Her opinion does not matter in this case. She does not care.
Well, I feel like it matters. I think that like because you had to go through watching season 1 and season 2 with me, and you said so many things.
Oh no, I didn't.
I could have sworn like at least season 2 because you watched like 4 episodes together. Like I remember like
I watched 1 of season 1, barely, and that was the first episode, and like 1.5 of season 2.
Okay, well then, because I'm surprised that like I usually watch everything with you, so I'm shocked that I didn't watch season 1 with you.
No, you don't.
Okay, well, shit. Yeah, because I mean, there's like a video like on our YouTube page that's with us, but I'm not gonna just okay. But
Yeah, like I mean, like I saw clips of like some of the stuff that happened in the second season, but I did not watch that full season with you.
okay. Anyway, so no opinion then, or like you don't like
I don't care what gets happening. Some fucking Justice League wannabes, like get the shit beat out of me. I don't give a fuck. It's like the Justice League. Like I haven't liked these motherfuckers since like the fucking DC movie started to come out. If the fucking ripoffs of them want to basically come out and be evil and then get killed, be my goddamn guest. Because I do not give a fuck.
Yeah, and I mean, like, I kind of see your point there, too. I was actually mad about a lot of stuff that happened in Season 2, especially, but then more so, like, there's a couple episodes in the first season that I was like, oh, Jesus, like, this is too much.
The first few episodes of the first season really was just like, yo, what are y'all doing?
Yeah, but, like, I ended up growing to like it, like, more so after seeing it, because I was like,
Yeah.
dude, like, I kind of like that there's a lot of other bullshit coming out. Like, I mean, I liked Eternals. I thought that was fine, and you know, we won't go into a whole discussion about Marvel movies and everything. But
Yeah.
when you go watch Boys, there are so many things that if you just watch clips on YouTube, like you know, they post up like highlights from the show, like in YouTube Shorts, like 1 minute little things, and I watched those with no context and not having to go through like watching the whole show again. I'm like, oh my god, that was awesome! Like that was so cool.
Well,
So without context, it's fucking badass. Like this is literally everything.
Well,
I
it's interesting because if we're talking about just the industry in general when it comes to superhero stuff, yeah, we're arguable or not, oversaturation is either here, getting here, or already fucking there. But when you have a situation where you have oversaturation and everyone's doing essentially trying to be Marvel, having something that's essentially counter to that is really helpful. But it also has to be like you can't just be counter just for counter's sake, because that's what DC was. DC is like, oh, we're different. We're just different for different sake, and we saw how that worked out. Where the Boys is like, yeah, we're very different to both Marvel and DC, but we also have like we also know what we're doing. Like we're not just what if the superheroes were evil and that's everything. It's like no, actually this is about celebrity culture, pop culture. What like powers and trying to what happens with real consequences happen. Like with the plane scene in season 1, it's like the show has a lot going for it because it's doing multiple things that are counter to what's currently going on in the superhero world. Yeah. But that only happens because not everyone's trying to be the Boys either. I'm not seeing 100 shows trying to be the Boys. I'm seeing the Boys doing their thing. So for the most part, until someone wants to copy them, they're pretty unique.
Yeah, because I mean, Invincible maybe, but like Invincible was a comic way before back in the day,
That's actually closer to traditional comics than the Boys is, even though they both have evil Superman variants. You have this one that's said to restore the whatever cut. I keep forgetting the director's name, but like Invincible is like, no, what if Superman was evil?
Mm-hmm, yeah. But yeah, anyway, so moving on though, man. Let's just talk about the obvious thing, because this was early on in the episode, but the gay sex scene. This dude, just so you guys know what it is, a character can minimize himself, and he ends up going inside of a dude's dick hole, and it was a very gory scene where he sneezes trying to get to his prostate for sexual reasons, and I will say, visual effect wise, it was badass. That was fucking insane, but I do feel like nothing will ever get that gruesome. Nothing did. I mean, as far as the other episodes, nothing ever got that gruesome. And it was almost like they wanted to shock you into like, we're back. Now don't expect nothing else.
Season 2, remember the first time you meet that girl, her head just fucking explodes, and you're like, oh shit, what the fuck was that? And nothing is as bad, but like it's weird. But like sometimes, like I like the not. I don't have to say I like the work. I fucking hate gore. I think gore is just. I feel like someone's just in the back room jacking off to it every time they fucking get a gory scene going. But like. That seems like it just sometimes I think like as much as they do it for the show and it works for the show, sometimes they're like they're children in the back going, what if we just did it like the Thanos thing, but what if we just blew him up? It's like you can tell they're fucking almost jackass with the budget.
I hate his fucking name color sometimes. But Brightburn, he says, what do you think about the Boys being called this generation's Dr. Strangelove? I think that's fucking stupid. I think that people try to connect things. Yeah, I don't even know, because like Dr. Strangelove was fucking awful. That people talk about that all the time. It's Dr. Strangelove. No, it's a
no. I legitimately have no idea what that is.
Well, I want to say it's a comic movie, but it was a because I'm so used to seeing Doctor Strange comic, whatever. But anyways, it came out back I believe the 60s or 70s, and I didn't watch the whole movie because it's fucking boring as shit. But it was like a black and white movie, and they make all these jokes and all these particular like references to things, and they don't really insult the intelligence of the audience, and. For people that really want to see something like, them having like dialogue that's like, oh shit, they probably shouldn't be saying that, and oh man, this is actually ahead of its time, like with what they're saying. I mean, once you see other people do that, it loses its oomph like completely. And there's nothing gory in there though. Like I don't even understand that Like,
is it meta narrative or something? Because
slightly, but not even really. Like, not that meta. Yeah, it's a Stanley Kubrick movie. Yeah, but I feel like maybe he's wrote the wrong movie. Like,
I mean, that's the thing. Like, because as far as The Boys is concerned, I can't really think of anything on top of my head that is The Boys. Because is this? I mean, if you wanted just to say anything meta as comparison to The Boys, you might as well go fucking Scary Movie for all your fucking comparisons.
Pretty much, yeah. Max. He says not really. Invincible is more like what if Superman had a psycho father. Invincible is the Superman of the show, not Omni-Man. No, true. Well, they're trying to push it that way.
No, because Invincible would be Jonathan Kent, basically Superman's son. Because Superman does have a kid with Lois, a human. That's what he would be. Omni-Man is literally Superman. He gets sent over, like, there's some, things that end up happening with him, whatever I want to say, but he gets sent over from his home planet, and he has all these powers. He is literally the Superman of that universe.
Yeah, so, I don't know. I mean, you both make a point there. Me, I don't really, like, because, like, when it comes to comic movies or things, or even comic books themselves, every single fucking person's been ripping somebody off ever since the 70s, like, or shit, since the 50s. Like, no one. I hate to say this, and this we're all gonna catch shit because he probably is arguing with you right now.
I already know what you're gonna say.
But yeah, comic books are not creative. I have not seen one fucking writer except for the guy who did The Crow. Forgot his name, but. Aside from that, no, like no one's ever like written anything in comic books since the fucking 50s that I read and I was like, oh, that's a different take. Oh, like I love Invincible. Invincible is one of my favorite things right now, but that's not creative. You just made Superman evil. That's easy as fuck to do. Like with The Boys, I love Homelander, but that's easy to do. Homelander's an evil fuck, okay. And
I fundamentally disagree because you have in the same fucking streaming service, for fuck's sake, you have two evil Superman variants that are wildly different. Their Venn diagrams aren't even like, except for the fact that they have Superman-esque powers, their Venn diagrams are wildly different. So it's like, to me, creativity comes with how you can take something established and make it unrecognizable to people that actually know where the base of it comes from. There's a long discussion over has of what is actually originality and creativeness, but like comic books, like the comic books rip each other off all the goddamn time. Like who came first, Black Cat or Catwoman? But it's like they also always do interesting things with those characters. Where as much as they're Black Cat and Catwoman are people like, what the fuck's the difference? They're very, very different when you go into them a little bit more. But from surface level, it can be difficult to see, especially if someone's like looking at The Boys, where it's like, oh, this is just evil. This is just live action Invisible. It's like not really. They have almost no connective tissue.
I disagree. But Huey's position I thought was kind of interesting when we get a chance to see like a further story with this character. And he meets this guy Tony, and Tony is there to see someone named Nadia, her name's Newman, but he calls her Nadia, and we'll learn more about that later on. And then Marvin's storyline, Mother's Milk, which I hate that fucking name.
That guy's name is fucking wild.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. Thank you, Blazion Michael. Oh, this is the thing you're going to hear a lot about in this fucking review. Huey is so fucking annoying, dude. I hate that motherfucker. Like, I hate the fuck out of him.
I get it. I'm not going to die on the hill say he's not, but like, it's weird because like, he seems to me to be the most like, I don't say rational, but like, I could just, if you just took someone from our actual world and put him in The Boys, like, he's constantly freaking out because like, yeah, why wouldn't you? This man's seen a lot of fucking people just get turned into piles of meat and blood. So it's like, he's constantly freaking out. Butcher's so desensitized to this shit because he's been knowing this shit since he was a fucking kid. And the rest of them are, war veterans, so they're very useless. But Huey's, for the most part, all intents and purposes, a normal person. And like, I get, like, sometimes I think he's being a little bit too extra, but sometimes I'm like, look, I fucking get it, bro. You're watching people explode in front of you.
Yeah, I agree with that too, Max. Yup. Like, I'm telling you, like, they're kind of like, I think that my review is not going to really, yours might surprise people or whatever, like, we'll see. But like with mine, the chat is literally just saying everything like I'm going to end up saying. Like,
Butcher is a problem, and the thing is, it's weird because everyone in the show has their things going on, but I don't hate anybody. There's nobody in the show I'm like, I can't stand, because like Homelander, he is clearly losing his mind and he's becoming unstable, and I love it because I'm like, we saw him in so much control in season 1. What if he just starts losing it? Like, really starts fucking losing it. What ends up happening there? Because he can no longer predict it. Butcher, he's getting darker and darker to the extent where he's almost more evil than Homelander. Like, getting to it. Huey, it's like, you can tell he's trying his best to fucking hold on, but he's just, he's keeping it all internal. But you start to see, like, the fucking steam just start erupting from his fucking whatever, where he's going to start losing his fucking mind or just fucking kill himself at some point, because he's just like, look, that man's trying to fucking do the right thing, and the universe is like, fuck you.
Yeah, but Marvin's storyline though, which I really like, he was becoming more interesting, and see him deal with like his daughter's birthday and potentially the stepdad coming in ruining his life even more so, but innocently, and then his wife trying to say like, yeah, you need to move the fuck on because we have. But the problem is, I don't. I know that like this can't go anywhere too far as like deep writing or whatever with his family because I don't see anything too violent happening in that guy's sub story. Like there's nothing that can happen at the house. Yeah, because that would be going too far. And me being a cynical motherfucker and trying to like not think about the show but thinking about like the writing of the show and what they can or cannot do, I'm like he's just gonna be pulled right back into the group and not this whole really interesting storyline. As long, I mean, there can't be no sex in it. There can't be no kids having their heads explode. There cannot be jizz. So like they're not going to do anything with that family. Like it's just they're going to be forgotten about in like 2 episodes. And to be honest, I think they kind of were a little bit.
Maybe not. Especially with the way season 4, episode 4 kind of does a recap. It shows that maybe they'll be brought in, but it does kind of show because he's the most. He's the heart of the group.
He really is. Dude, I love Marvin, man. He's fucking great.
Yeah, I don't want anything bad to happen to him or his family because I'm like, it sucks that, hey, his wife moved on and she found someone. That seems, he's kind of I don't want to say he's a dork, but he has this dorky personality traits. But clearly he loves the daughter and loves her. So it's like, he's at the end of the day, he's not like mad or jealous. He's just like, fuck, I wish that could be me. Because he tries. He's for a year he's being there and he realizes like he needs to work. He's a workaholic. He can't just not work. Because he'll start to just take it out. Like he does what Ganja should have done with this fucking goddamn fire carbon monoxide detector. Beats the goddamn shit out of it till it shuts the fuck up.
Yeah.
And then he realized, oh shit, I freaked out in front of my daughter. Like I can't fucking do this. Like let me try to focus my aggression to the stuff with Soldier Boy because that's how he gets brought back. Because he gets brought in, I'm like, eventually that storyline has to kind of go somewhere. But it makes sense how they brought him. Like this is his origin story basically.
Yeah, but the biggest one for me that made me like the episode is absolutely Homelander's interaction with A-Train. I am sick to death of A-Train. He gets on my fucking nerves.
Oh, he's such a bitch.
And hearing Homelander not only fat shame him, but then super
because that would be you.
Oh yeah, I would fat shame the fuck out of A-Train, especially when he's probably been fat shaming other people during his whole fucking like rise of stardom or whatever. But like the thing is though is like he catches A-Train talking shit because Homelander like says some fat shaming shit, whatever, he's an asshole, and A-Train walks away. And I don't know why, but A-Train didn't know that he has super hearing, I guess, or he just didn't care, and he was like,
he doesn't just care because like it's weird because like when you're dealing with Homelander and stuff like that, you forget like, oh yeah, this guy can hear like really well, so he's just like he's fed up because everyone's treating A-Train like shit, which obviously deservedly. This man has only done in 3 seasons. This man's only done one good thing. This, by the way, the whole reason that basically Homelander's downfall happened is because of A-Train.
Pretty much, yeah. But so when he does that, and he's like beating the fuck out of A-Train. Not he doesn't beat the fuck out of him, but he like really says some awful shit to him. I just thought it was fucking great. Homelander for me is so threatening at all times and unpredictable. Even the scene where like Billy is watching an old clip of Homelander killing everyone on the airplane for season 1, and seen again in here, they actually take the same clip, and it's still just as effective because I didn't forget about that. But seeing that happen again, I was like, oh, like I love Homelander, but fuck this motherfucker, man. Like, but I love to hate him. It's the perfect heel, talking wrestling speak. Like, there's only so many heels that you can really hate that you're like, you wish the good guy would beat them up, so you end up liking the good guys. And it's almost like I don't care most about these characters, but anyone who will ever try to fuck with Homelander, I might end up liking him because I'm like, someone needs to stop this man. Like,
yeah,
somebody has
you're looking at Butcher, you're like, holy shit, this guy's almost as bad as Homelander. But you like realize, especially with the fact they doubled down on the home front Nazi thing, like. Because the first season, there was discussions. I remember we moderate the goddamn fan page. There were discussions of is Homelander racist? Because don't worry, you can murder everybody in the whole world, but as long as you're not a racist, we can still like you. Like it was this gigantic fucking discussion. They said, "Fuck it, nah, this dude was all in. This dude was all the fuck in."
Yeah, and LaCurl, I mean, I was writing to you, but I really do appreciate that you actually know the wrestling stuff there. But welcome to the chat, man. I'm glad you're over here. Hopefully you don't get too bored of us. We're going to be on here for about another 30 or even 40 minutes, so we'll see. But I'm going to wrap everything up because I know Alan has to go soon and want to get to the other episodes too. I will say that I would give this episode 3 out of 5. There's a little bit of meandering, and, there is, just as you guys can tell, there's going to be a lot of storylines going on, and it may seem like a little much at times, but it's definitely a little confusing, and I hate to say that I was confused at a certain point because I did say that I enjoyed this before with season 2, but I think there's just I feel like if you don't have season 1, season 2 fresh, the previous seasons fresh in your mind, you kind of have to go watch them again, and that sucks for any kind of show because they're just throwing so much shit at you. I don't know how anyone would not be confused at this point. So I mean that's what I can say. But that being said, I want to watch the other 2 seasons, so this was serviceable. I think there's enough explaining that the main storylines you'll understand. But yeah, I just hope to better understand the stories. And which ones people are gonna prioritize as far as the writing goes. So yeah, 3 out of 5 for me. I'm gonna give me some water. As you can tell, I'm fucking dying. I'll be right back. And Ganja Guru is in the chat. What is up, dude?
What is up, you superhero loving nerds?
But I'll be right back. And Alan, go ahead and tell people about what you would rate this and everything. I'll be right back.
Also, what is this? What are we talking about?
The Boys.
Ooh, The Boys.
Yeah, it's fucking fantastic ass season. Normally in a situation where what's up?
So what you give your rating?
Oh yeah, so normally I'd be like, 4 out of 5, and explain why. I'm gonna start this off with saying this is 4.5. This is one of the highest ratings I'll ever give anything because I will always give points for not only breaking tropes, because to me it's like they're it's not just doing the opposite of a trope, but like because I hate that subversion of expectation doesn't mean doing the opposite. It means that you're going on a path that there's no way we could have possibly predicted, but still feels fluid. Look at Civil War with Zemo. He doesn't release he doesn't release it with the soldiers. He murders them all because that was never part of his thing. But the whole movie makes it think they're gonna fight a bunch of them. That's subversion of expectations. It wasn't doing the opposite. It was branching out in a way you didn't expect. This does the same thing because I was expecting all the very cynical when I'm watching something this R-rated because I'm like, oh, I know exactly where this is gonna go. But they're doing so much different stuff. Some stuff I predict, but some stuff I'm like, oh, they're actually like people aren't dying here, people aren't dying there. Oh, this ended up happening. But just from a narrative standpoint, like if you're able to basically take me out of my take my head out of my ass and make me just sit back and just enjoy it.
That's not an easy feat, folks.
It's not easy. You're getting the highest fucking rating I could possibly give a show. And yeah, to me, it's like everything was firing on all cylinders. Homelander was coming. It was basically back in the spotlight. I'm like, okay, good, he's the villain. You start to see the heroes really just like start to like wear it down. You start to see that the years are catching up to it because it's been like 2 years, I think, in this universe since they started season 1. And you start to see like they're fed up with this shit. They feel like they're not getting anywhere. And you as an audience member, be like, holy fuck, how are you guys still able to put up with it? And you start to see everyone really in the decline as much as they're trying to do the right thing. So everything's firing all cylinders, especially with the next couple of episodes. Everything they bring up, they keep going. My boy Jetson Ankles is in here, and oh my god, he's fucking great. So yeah, this is definitely one of the highest fucking ratings I can give. This is probably one of the best shows to come out this year. So until Doom Patrol fucking season 4 comes back, this is the best superhero show this fucking year.
So I got a question.
What's up?
That's a good one. Why do you like The Boys and not Invincible?
I never said I didn't like Invincible.
But why? Like, why did you give this a chance over that?
Because at the end of the day, no matter how violent this show gets, it will never be photorealistic violence because there's always going to be the mix of practical and CG, especially with the first, the dick scene. Like, yes, that was very violent, but it was within the confines of reality. So you could be like, I could look at that and go, okay, I can see the fakeness. So it didn't affect me as much as seeing Batman get fucking murked. Because to me, Batman to me is almost animated at this point. So seeing Batman get murked that fucking hard, that fucking affected me more than seeing some dude get ripped in half, even though that was extremely effective. And it's weird because like everyone keeps telling me, oh, except for maybe the last episode, which I did watch the fucking train scene just to see if it was as bad. It wasn't as bad as seeing the Justice League get wiped out in the first episode.
Oh, you finally watched the train scene. That's cool.
I watched the train scene because I was curious. Because people tell me, oh no, once you get the first like taste of it, nothing is as bad, even if it's still effective. But it's animated stuff to me because when you do animated stuff within the universe, it's photorealistic.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to have that weird mix of CG and practical that The Boys has, because The Boys tries its best, but you could tell the CG says practical blend. With Invincible, it's like, no, it's all in the same fucking fluid shot. So seeing like the Wonder Woman-esque person get their fucking head ripped off and blood goes, I'm like, that I remember that scene. It is burned into my head, the entire fucking fight scene. And the problem is, it was well choreographed, so I loved it. But I'm like, I don't want to feel that same way that I felt after the episode, because I watched that scene like 4 fucking times. That fucking affected me.
But did you give your rating rate for the first episode?
Yeah, 4.5. It gets the extra 0.5 because the fact that it breaks a lot of tropes, but it also makes me unclench my fucking hands and be like, okay, I'm gonna sit through and watch your fucking narrative. But if you can make me basically get my head out of my ass, you get an extra 0.5.
But the second episode opens up with some like Lifetime channel shit, by the way, with the Deep, and I gotta tell you, dude, like it was kind of funny because it's called like Not Without My Dolphin or some shit like that. But like,
that shit was trash. Like I hate the Deep. I hated the Deep since like the first season. Yeah. But this is the first time where like I do feel bad for him a little bit, but like it works a lot better than it ever has.
Yeah. And I get what they're doing, but I just think that these are, even though they're kind of funny, that first episode wasn't going to be beat with the Dawn of Seven thing, and I have a feeling that like every episode is going to be doing something similar to this, or at least a lot of them are, and I'm just like, yeah, I hope that you're not, because you can only make them land so much. Like, enough with the fucking joke. Or whatever.
Oh, dude,
It's
they
starting
spent
to
the
feel like
entire
Tropic
season
Thunder.
2 doing the dolphin fucking joke. Like, I'll take with this where it's actually plot related.
Well, it's not even deep. It's not even the deep thing. I'm just like these weird little the Dawn of the Seven, and then and then I feel like it's gonna be like Tropic Thunder. Like the next episode's gonna have like booty sweat, like booty sweat energy drink. Yeah, woo.
When
I
you
mean-
find a
I mean,
crime,
they
you're
got-
gonna get some of that sweet booty sweat.
Was
Yeah.
it? Yeah, it was episode 4. They do they do that.
I'm just calling
Pepsi
from
thing
prison,
for-
by the way, guys.
Yep.
Straight up, man. These are my last commissary check. Big
Oh.
Bubba gonna take my ass for this show.
I don't know what's happening. I gotta get a fucking technician at your house to figure out
Bro, I don't know what's going on. I can't even bring my fucking avatar up.
Yeah, it's amazing. But then, the boys or whatever, they investigate the Soldier Boy death or whatever. Which, by the way, is there a reason why I should be caring? Yeah, no, because we are telling the best jokes. No,
No, bro, literally I cannot hear Soldier Boy without going you every fucking time. I know it's stupid, but
we are podcast number 3,254 who's made that fucking joke.
hey man, we get that check.
But I don't know. I guess I'll start with this essentially because I even forgot what I was saying. But Butcher starts this whole thing off being a fucking dick, dreaming, fiending for wanting to take the Compound V, and then kind of has this attitude with the son on the computer, which I was like, okay, now you're starting to be a dick to characters that I thought you would never be a dick to. I don't know. I don't like this Butcher,
be
man.
real, in season 2, he almost beat that kid to death with a crowbar. He saw it.
Yeah, you're right.
That man's gonna go full Joker.
Yeah, dude. So I don't really like the direction of writing for him because and not to say that I don't appreciate when something's being unapologetically violent or serious like that because there's honesty in that. But it's also this character, what we know about him, he would never do that shit, and he's doing that shit, and I'm just I don't know. I want to sound like Alan, especially because he just brought up his Invincible thing earlier, and it's I don't want to Billy for this show. He's my hero. I feel like I relate to him a lot, and then he's doing this, and I'm like, dude, your morality wouldn't be punctured like this. You wouldn't be.
Well, the thing is one, it's he's trying his best to deal with that, especially he realized it, but it's also been a year. It's not saying episode. The characters are very much feeling the effects of the fact that as far as the show's concerned, it's been 2 years that's been since the first episode. They're starting to wear down where it's they feel like they're not getting as much respect, they're not doing as much work, and he doesn't know how to solve the Homelander problem. Butcher doesn't know how to solve the Homelander problem. And he was wrong. He even understands that he was wrong. That's why he even calls Huey later on in the episode. But it's a situation where he's trying his best because he doesn't know how to be a father because he never wanted to be, and deal with this kid who just wants a dad, but he also understands he can't really connect to him that much because it's through a computer, and he's dealing with the fact that Homelander can just fly down at any moment and murder everybody. So his entire focus is how do I kill Homelander to make sure this kid has a life.
Yeah, and then and this, I wrote this in bullet list points. But I'm about to read off a paragraph to you guys. Because I had to. I literally rewatched the scene twice. Not the scene, but most of this episode twice, because this is gonna be story dump heaven for anyone who hasn't watched the episode. But the boys investigate Soldier Boy's death, and Huey investigates Tony we didn't tell you what happened with the end of episode 1. Hopefully Alan didn't, because I didn't want to spoil something, and it was a big surprise to me. But something happened with Tony and Newman, aka Nadia. And Huey saw it.
Newman.
So yeah, Newman. But the thing is more so than anything else, is during their conversation with Nadia and Tony, Huey actually heard about this thing called the Red River, which is an orphanage for soup children. So he goes over there to have his own little adventure trying to investigate that situation. Meanwhile, Frenchie and Kamiko find Soldier Boy's widow, but she unfortunately escapes them and kills a fucking Homelander mascot on accident. And then Starlight and Huey's whole thing, Huey's getting jealous because Starlight and this was in episode 1, I think, of the season, but she meets this guy, Alex, who apparently she was actually in a relationship with, her first ever relationship with, who took her virginity. And now he's trying to be a soup, he's trying to be part of the 7 or whatever, right? Which I think the Deep's not even a 7 right now. I think he's also trying to be a 7, so who knows?
Basically this episode they're doing the American Idol, who's gonna be your next whatever the fuck. And the Deep is he's been trying to since season 2 to get back into the 7.
Yeah, exactly. So, he's doing that. He's calling all jealous on the phone. Because, Starlight's busy being co-captain and doing shit for, the media with Homelander. And Huey's, on the phone all jealous, I don't know what's going on with you guys. I've called you, 10 times. You haven't answered yet, blah, blah, blah. All this fucking shit. I'm dude, you're starting to become an obstacle. I totally get it. I've been jealous before, too. And I've been uncomfortable with, a girlfriend talking to somebody, blah, blah, blah. It is what it is. But,
I see. I knew people were gonna get mad at that because they're like, "Oh, why is he doing that?" Well, he's kind of one. He is a kind of a dweeb. Two, he's dealing with a situation where it's like, yeah, he clearly likes this person, but like he can't protect her. He can't. He's trying to, but if somebody comes up, he's not going to be able to protect her.
But he's not caring about her protection. He didn't ask about Homelander, who could rape, kill, torture her, which that gets brought up later. I actually wrote that down to bring it up later on.
But even then, it's like he looks at the guy and he goes, "This guy had a connection to you." So it's like I get everything that he's doing, and to me, it's all within character. Like this, yeah, that's exactly how we kind of act. It kind of sucks. I'm like, yo, you should trust your girl a little bit more, but like, I also kind of get it. I just wish because they went a little bit too extra. I'm like, I think they should have had more of a conversation, but the show's so.
By the way, do you relate really heavily to Huey?
Sometimes, not a lot.
Because honestly, I'm just reading by your energy of how you answer it. I'm like, I know what it is. You like connect with him.
No, I just don't want. No, it's just Huey's one of those characters where it's like he's clearly the butt of every joke on the show, and I've always hated those characters because it's just like every possible bad thing that could ever happen is gonna happen to this one character. This the whole
Charlie Brown.
Catch a break. The Charlie Brown thing's like, I can't catch a break. I'm like, can we please just not do this? Can we just have a little bit of like not do the exact trope that everyone thinks you're gonna fucking do? Oh, this guy's a dweeb with a super hot girlfriend, and this other a couple of handsome guy shows up, so they're totally he's gonna get cheated on because he's a loser. It's like, okay, can we not do the same thing we've been doing for 40 fucking years? So, but again, at the end of the day, it's like I get people are gonna be annoyed with them, but it's like there's at least some fucking merit. Half of y'all in the chat that are yelling at he would do the same goddamn fucking thing if he heard this.
Well, like I've done the same thing, but like let me say, like, I'll use you as an example. Like if she got like this new job that she's hanging around all these like fucking model material dudes or whatever, but she's also like, man, like I hope I'm like good enough to be here, and like I hope that like I can do this fucking thing, and I want to administrate, I want to be a manager, I want to do this, I want to go up in the company, and then I'm calling all the stress Jet would have, and I'm like, hey, talk to that guy. Will that guy talk to you? It's like now I'm just caring about my own dick and my own feelings. I'm not asking her how her day was. I'm just making sure that she's behaving or whatever the fuck. That's bullshit, dude. That's not cool.
Oh no, 100%. He is wrong, but it's like it's one of those situations where just because somebody's acting wrong doesn't necessarily mean it's not realistic or it's not like how people would act, because this happens really, especially in Hollywood. This is basically like their relationship is the Hollywood, hey, this person's famous, I'm not famous dynamic. Happens all the time. So it's like this to me it fits within the narrative, much like how Butcher, he's yelling at is basically not kid, kind of like it's not really his kid in any way. His wife got raped and fucking had a kid. He's just basically put on with it. It's like these characters are trying their best to deal with this world where they don't necessarily want to be a part of it. Everyone's really falling apart. The only good relationship is Frenchie and Kimiko.
Yeah, and in chat, by the way, I just like what they're saying too, and I want to read what they're saying just so you know them paying attention. But Valasian saying like he saw that with Alan too, with the connection with Huey. The girl saying Huey's kind of a beta though, and then Max says, "Give me James Gunn Suicide Squad versus the Boys." I would love that shit. And I also think that Task Force X would fit in this world, absolutely. But
they're basically the Suicide Squad, so yeah.
Yeah, essentially. LaCroix says the fact that Deep is still around as a character bothers him, and we'll talk more about that later and probably around episode 4, because I agree with you, but then they did something that surprised me. But the thing is, though, is like, talking about this episode, episode 2, the main thing, and we can get off this Huey thing, because I feel like we might take too long talking about that because we disagree, and sometimes we're just like that, so we're going to have to agree or disagree soon. Yeah. But the thing that pissed me off the most about the Huey situation, especially with him calling her, bugging her, blah, 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 and everything she's going through, but then, like, dude, you're concerned more about, like, this Alex guy. You don't know much about him, but then also, like, episode 1 at the end, you've seen and heard some really horrible shit, and then you're investigating on horrible shit happening at a kid's orphanage. Get your fucking priorities straight. Like, he really, really only gives a fuck about himself, and it's really frustrating because the show's kind of telling you, like, he's great, he's awesome, like, he's a sweet man. Sweet men don't fucking go, oh, here's a picture of this horrible, bloody
I'm not... obviously, no, I do agree with what you're saying. He is so focused on himself. You don't think he cares about himself because he's trying to justify his own existence. However, I don't think that the show or even himself trying to say he's a sweet guy. I think they're literally trying to say it's like this guy is so afraid for his own life. He's doing whatever it takes to justify his own existence because he's the weakest member. He either is objectively or it feels like he's the weakest member of the fucking crew because he's not as stoic as Butcher or focused as Butcher. He's not as creative as Frenchie. He's not as like he doesn't have the heart like Mother's Milk does. He's kind of they called him Canary in the last season. He kind of is. He hangs around Butcher and he's trying his best to justify his own existence. So he's like fucking freaking out and just trying to do anything. That's why he completely like disregards fucking Starlight and just goes and investigates that horrible orphanage. This world sucks. I fucking hate this world. Why would anybody live here? How is the suicide rate not through the fucking roof? There's an orphanage where babies are murdering people.
Yeah, man. But what you call it? Like, I will say though, that being said, I will say the length of the show is a little much because we're getting so much time to spend with Huey and this whole like dating thing, whatever the fuck. But like also too, like he's actually finding interesting shit out about Nadia's character, and I'm super like uninterested in Huey, so it's like, all right, I'm glad that he's latching on to shit that might be more interesting. But then Starlight, who I think is way more interesting. And the main story here is obviously with Billy and Homelander. So this obligation to follow what Huey's doing just in general, I feel like it's just a waste of time. Much like the story with A-Train trying to come up with ways to remain relevant.
Bro,
They make a fucking
so
VS4
bad.
joke, dude. They make a VS4 joke, and it's fucking 2022. Very, very lame fucking joke. Very lazy joke to make.
No, I died at that fucking like pitch meeting. We're like, are you selling a fucking slavery game?
Yeah! I mean, it's kind of funny, but it's also like, do we need that fucking shit? It's an hour-long episode. Like, can you fucking not?
Well, because
Like,
every
come on.
character in this show is going through a heavy arc, and in some cases, some characters are getting to the end of their arcs, or at least going through a new like. Because the A-Train at this point is more pathetic than the Deep at this point.
Yeah.
Because he is trying his best to, again, much like Huey, he's trying to justify his own existence because he can't run. He even says it in like episode, I think it's either this episode or episode 1. If he fucking runs at all, his heart might just fucking explode. So he's like, I can't fucking run. I got to find a way to justify my own existence. So that's his arc. But like the shit he's doing is so, his outfit change. Oh my God, that's fucking bad.
Yeah, even like that main lady is like, what the fuck? That was in episode 3, I believe. I could be wrong. I don't know.
I'm not sure.
Oh, sorry about if people saw something that just popped up. My computer wants to restart because why do anything normal?
Bill Gates is like, fuck you.
Yeah. But yeah, that being said though, like, and to move on, towards the other characters of the story, Billy is on this like thing trying to fucking find out more about Soldier Boy, which, man, they're pushing that shit down your fucking throat. And he's trying to learn about Payback, which is like their group or whatever. And he
Basically,
finds a little
Watchmen
running buddy.
before the Watchmen.
Pretty much, yeah. And he finds a little running buddy, Gunpowder. And this gunfight actually gets so intense and becomes such a close call for Billy that he's like, hey, man, maybe I'm going to start listening to Huey and say I don't want to fight anymore or cause violence anymore. But Huey, being as annoying as he always fucking is, changes his mind about the whole non-violence thing because what we found out about Nadia. So yeah, very, very fucking annoying, and this leads to what we all probably knew was going to happen eventually, and yeah, I think it's actually in trailer, so I'm gonna spoil this. Sorry, but I just think it is what it is. But yeah, Billy takes Compound V, and I'm gonna be honest, I want to take points away for this, only
Really?
because of the fact that we've meandered and told the same story. They beat it into your fucking brain for 24 episodes. I mean, you gotta consider like 12 episodes per season, I believe. I could be wrong about that, but lots of hours of just like, I'm not like them fucking soups. I'm not gonna do that shit. And then Huey's like, no violence, no violence, no violence. Okay, violence. We are taking away shit that you've constantly bothered the fuck out of us with, and just said, man,
See-
throw it all away. Now we're new characters. I'm like, you fucking pieces of shit.
I
Like, really?
disagree fundamentally because this is a situation where it's like, yeah, he hates superheroes and Huey's like trying his best to be nonviolent. This is the destruction of these characters. They started off as, moral pillars. I hate superheroes and everything they stand for. I don't want violence. And you start to see the corruption or the fact that it's like they're becoming the monsters they are fighting. And to me, it's extremely interesting because he just keeps saying like, whatever. It's like a gun, non-violent person having a gun in the house. Like, hey, I don't want it. It's just there. Whatever. But you start to see, especially like, he's dealing with his kid and he's like, oh, maybe I could be better. Maybe I could do that. Dude calls him up. Yo, man, shit's fucked. Then it's like, okay, they're trying, because they're trying their best to be on the right side of history. And they're getting to the point where it's like, there's no right side, so fuck it. We're just going to be as dirty as they are, because the only way to stop a bad guy with the gun is a good guy with the gun. So what they're doing is like, fuck it. We know what we're doing. We're going to stop these superheroes. And this is the only way to do it while still living and have a chance to do it. We're going to fucking do it. Like, they are corrupting characters. Do I agree with their decisions? Of course not. But I can see the progression because they are slowly deterring who they are as people. So you're getting to the point where it's like especially by the end of they've shown they're almost unrecognizable to what they were in season 1 because shit happens. Like take a soldier or take anybody that's ever been in the military. The first day versus the 100 days, like it starts to really affect who you are as a person and starts to destroy everything you stood for.
LaCroix says in the original series, Huey and Butcher has special abilities. The live action show removed them. So okay, that makes more sense. They got to kind of like keep the fans happy and stuff and stick to the original material to a certain extent, and I appreciate that. And it's just for me at this point, the way I was feeling is I was like, I felt betrayed. Now, granted, like that doesn't mean that they can't do something interesting with that later on, but I mean, I'm gonna be honest, like, and I mean, I saw episode 4 obviously, because we're about to talk about it, and episode 3. So I mean, I will say I ended up liking that they did that, but what I write for this episode, I can't lie to you guys and say that I didn't sit here and go, oh, bullshit. You know what I mean? Like, that's my reaction. I was fucking furious when that part happened. So, but, I mean, spoiler for what I feel about the other ones, I'm cool with it now. But that's fucking frustrating. Anyways. I won't say what happens afterwards about, when Billy takes a compound V, but yeah, obviously he takes it. And I do love Butcher's powers. They're fucking badass. And it does go against a lot of stuff, but it is what it is. But one of the better moments of the show in general comes when we get a speech from Homelander that, he just shits on everyone, all the soups. He literally on TV. Like, he straight up just says, like, I'm a fucking hero. You guys ain't shit. I'm sick of everyone's being everyone's fucking puppet. And
basically what Kim Kardashian says in the mirror every morning.
Pretty much. But I gotta tell you, dude, like, it opens up a world of possibilities. That being said, this episode, it was obviously just an extension of the first episode while still being a little scatterbrained with a ton of stories going on. But I can feel that the next episode is going to make things slightly more concise, considering that you see little pockets of these random, like, characters and episodes or stories. They're, like, starting to get more, like, enclosed together, which is the thing I like about wrestling sometimes. I had to bring wrestling for the second time in a row. But it is one of those things where, like, when Stone Cold and The Rock were, like, beating the shit out of each other, the reason why there's two big stars, Stone Cold and The Rock, it wasn't because there was a John Cena or Hulk Hogan beating everybody around. I'm the best in the world. No, you have to have these guys, go to cyclical. And then when you keep sharing, like, hey, I lost to The Undertaker. Hey, I lost to Edge. Hey, I lost to Triple H. You care about all these characters because no one is that super duper awesome. We can all grow. That's why that's why Superman's not the only amazing guy in DC. Batman's cool too, and Green Lantern's cool, and some other characters are cool. Not. Green Lantern's kind of cool.
Green Lantern's a fucking lame ass motherfucker.
But you have to give some love to other people to like
like with
Aquaman shit too. What were you saying, Gandra?
No, I was just saying I love fucking Aquaman.
What are you talking about? Aquaman actually has a cool power set. Oh, I gotta recharge my fucking ring.
I
have the power of will and greed.
The motherfucker is so lame that DC itself makes fun of him.
That DC makes fun of itself way too fucking out of my own taste. They should make fun of the guy whose fucking weakness is the color yellow.
I will say, not to be a dick or anything, but because I know you're just heated, but I can't understand Ganja even without you interrupting him. Now I really can't. It's like, and then another thing,
Green Lantern is lame as shit. He's just a cop, Ganja. He's just a cop. All cops are bastards. That includes the Lantern Corps.
What were you saying, Ganja?
But remember, royalty's fine, y'all. Remember, he loves the Queen's Canadian.
Hey, there's some decent royalty.
Luke Rose like, Ganja, tell him.
Yeah, fucking Green Lantern is a bitch. We're beaten by the color yellow.
I think Green Lantern's stupid too, to be honest. I mean, I think they're all stupid, but it's like, as far as like difference in powers, like I can see, like I think he gave Green Lantern more movies. Like, give him some shit. Like, the fuck, like Aquaman was stupid too until they finally gave him Jason Momoa and had a movie.
No, that's what I'm saying. Aquaman has had more chances to be cool because
they haven't. They give him those stupid ass pants.
The Justice League animated show back in the day, which was one of the biggest comic book shows ever fucking made. It has Aquaman being the coolest he's ever been.
We'll agree, disagree. But yeah, I give this episode a 3.5 out of 5 because of Homelander's speech. If it wasn't for that, this would have been an average, forgettable 2.5 out of 5. But Homelander, once again, saves the day for the show's quality. I mean, that's 2 episodes in a row. Homelander is fucking, like...
Killing
it. Anthony Starr is the actor's name, right?
Yeah.
He's fucking amazing, dude. Like, amazing. And Carl Urban, too. I like him.
Carl, everyone. Like, there's not a bad actor on the show.
But what'd you rate this? Numerically?
4. This is another 4, and it's to me, it's like you're getting everybody. Because at this point, like I'm used to what you're getting, and again, the violence in the show, it feels like it's adding to the show as opposed to just being there because we can get away with it. Homelander, to me, I'm liking the mental instability because when you see him in season 1, season 2, he's very tactical. He's very like, I know what I'm doing, but you can tell, especially in season 2, he's in over his head. Because you always assume it's one thing. One of the tropes of villains that I'm starting to really hate is the villain that knows it all and has everything figured out and knows exactly what to do. But at the very end, because of friendship, loses. It's like, no, you start to see, especially season 2, he very much is in over his head. He's not the smartest person in the world. He's not the smartest person in existence. He is very much like they limit his intelligence, not necessarily making him dumb or dumber, but they basically show it's like he can't predict everything. He's just basically trying to limit his leashes. And that's when you start seeing this. He's trying to limit. He's sick of being basically told what to do. And when he goes off, because he could easily kill them, and that'd be easy. Oh, evil Superman just murders people. What if he just said, fuck it. No one can stop me. I can say whatever I want. I'm just going to be honest. And he does that. Yeah. And you start to see, it's like, okay, this is now more threatening because it's no longer, oh, is he going to murder? Is he going to murder me? It's like, no, he can just take everything from me and the world will thunderous applause. You know.
Yeah. By the way, the double toes of Chad, I just spelled Austin Nick's name wrong. I was like, Austin Nick. So my bad about that, dude. I know you're watching. He's saying like, hey, nice conversation you guys are having. Yeah, I appreciate that, dude.
Thank you.
Especially Alan's probably really appreciate that because he's like, man, we're talking about nerd shit for an hour and like Nick isn't getting mad yet, or like trying to end this shit.
I haven't been fired from the chat tech yet.
Give time. Give time.
I know. Yeah, we're about to get into. We're probably gonna talk about Joker afterwards, and you say some bad shit. Actually, I'm probably gonna say most bad shit. Anyway, we'll get into that in a minute, y'all. But anyways, dude. Yeah, this episode, episode 3 of season 3, opens up. Oh wait, did you? Oh, you gave it a 4 out of 5. I'm sorry.
Yeah, 4 to 5. Yeah, this episode's my favorite episode.
Yeah, I got lost there. But no, episode 3 opens up with Homelander, and I fucking appreciate this too because I'm used to Walking Dead and lots of other shows where they end off with a good cliffhanger. I'm like, oh shit, what's gonna happen next? And then 3 years later, I was like, you fucking bastards. But this, it opens up the next morning. He's watching his speech on TV and he's worried, like, man, I fucked up. He's all naked and everything, which they had to make a boner joke. I was like,
they did, but the thing is, I didn't notice this the first time because obviously it's the boner joke. He is schlubby. He's actually not ripped. He doesn't have abs. He looks
pretty good.
He does look pretty good, but if you notice his area, he's actually not like when he's sitting down, he's actually like has a little bit of a gut going on because of the fact that his power comes from the serum, not necessarily him training. It's not like Butcher, because So I didn't notice that people were pointing it out. It's like that makes perfect sense because the whole suit he wears is like a muscle suit. That's what gives him the defined muscles. But when he's not doing that, he's kind of almost a normal guy. It's just his ability that the V gives him made him super strong. So his strength comes from power, not necessarily working out, which is actually a really interesting detail.
Yeah, I did not think about that actually until you said that. That's kind of cool. But yeah, dude, he was just in there, and I forgot the lady's name, but she runs up. Ashley, yeah, she comes up and she's just like, "Oh my god, like your ratings and your approval like numbers, whatever, from white male demographics, fucking love."
Oh, they dude, with the whole Stormfront thing, they fucking doubled down on him being a white supremacist, man.
Yeah, so I mean that's fine or whatever. Like I just felt like I'm not gonna like defend Republicans or racists or anything, but it's just like that joke is once again a little cheap and a little bit of a jab, and it's very obvious. And I hope no one's on the internet going like, "Oh, that woke shit." But if they are, I get. If they are, I get being complain about like that is some lame shit. Like he's had to put it in there. Oh, and then black people don't like him. It's like, come on.
I get that immediately from just surface level, but the thing is what I liked about it because when we deal with Stormfront in the early episode, and she starts bringing up Aryan race bullshit, and he's like, "No, stop the fuck up! Like I'm not dealing with that shit." You start to see he doesn't actually like he does have his America first. He's not necessarily like a supremacist in the fact that he hates all the race. He just hates humans in general.
Yeah.
But what I like about it is he's so desperate for affection, he will literally go to just whoever's giving him the.
He's like, "Fucking the KK likes me. Sure, come on in."
Oh, here,
like
Clan Hood, let's fucking go. Like, if it means he gets loved. So when he's like, "Holy shit, somebody likes me," it doesn't matter. If all the black people in the universe fucking liked him, that guy would fucking got a goddamn cornrows or some shit. Because all that matters is that he's being appreciated. So I'm like, okay, I get that you have to acknowledge the fact that he's the Trump with superpowers in this universe, but I also like that you're doing it. It makes sense. You're not just doing it because you feel like you have to. It actually adds to the character.
But but the boys get a hold of Mallory, and she reveals that Payback was sent out to assist the CIA fighting communists in the Cold War, which I guess Black Noir was there, who I like.
Bro, that's what I loved about that shit, because they give you the whole. And God, you'll love this. They talk shit about Reagan through like half this episode.
Excellent.
But they literally even bring up the fact that the cocaine epidemic started because Reagan literally just said, "Put it in the black neighborhoods."
Yeah. History.
Yes.
But no, but that was kind of a cool thing. They show Black Noir getting like fucked up by Russians or whatever.
Yo.
Which is like, or no, that wasn't even Black Noir. It was Soldier Boy that they said that was getting killed by the Russians. So obviously they want to dig deeper into the Soldier Boy thing, which I'm getting sick of Soldier Boy so much. But this big Russian super weapon, Butcher ends up having a crackhead moment because he's like learning about this. He's getting pissed off, but he's also coming down off the V, the compound V. So he's like being shady to his son again. Yeah. He like runs out of the fucking room. And he's later, trying to force Frenchie to contact Lil Nina, who I guess is like an old boss of Becca, I believe, his old wife. Yeah. Or his old wife, like
old life,
as opposed to his new one.
Past, yeah.
Yeah. But he wants to arrange transport to Russia, I guess, as he's probably going to be starting some shit, with the people over there. But also in this episode, we get some more A-Train shit going on where he meets his brother and talks to him about some things. But honestly, like, it is so unimportant at this point that I don't know what the fuck they're doing with this character, and it all just seems like filler to make the episode reach its hour-long fucking runtime. And I'm like, dude, like, you're now insulting my fucking time. Like, you're bothering the fuck out of me with this fucking A-Train shit. It's all jokes, and the jokes don't land, and if they do land, they're just jokes that don't fucking go anywhere. So I'm like, dude, like, fucking find your goddamn goal, your destination, and get there. I am, dude, can you tell me, episode 3, were you not super frustrated with the A-Train shit?
No, in fact, again, like I said, I'm kind of loving it. Same thing with the Deep, which I hated the Deep since episode 1 because I think Aquaman's a pretty cool character, and we get it. Oh, Aquaman's dumb. We get it, but like seeing A-Train fall from grace so hard, it's like, yeah, he's trying. I'm starting to see the him and Huey arcs because they're starting to parallel. Because this whole show started because of them. You know,
Really?
His girl gets fucking eviscerated, and because of A-Train, and then it starts this whole fucking thing. But you start to see that their arcs are almost parallel. Both of them are trying to find some sort of relevance in their world. They're trying to find some sort of importance, and they've been beaten down by Homelander so much that they don't know really where to go. So they're desperately trying to cling on. You see Huey, like, he thinks he's doing good, and then the moment, like, fucking you figure out, he figures out his boss is an asshole, it's like, oh shit, he starts to regress. A-Train is trying so desperately to find a voice. He is doing, like, the most, like, fucking, virtue signaling thing he possibly can. So I'm kind of like, okay, like, yeah, sometimes the jokes don't always land, but I also like that the show's like, no, these, like, you're a fucking idiot. Like, the amount of time Ashley says, you're a fucking idiot, what the fuck is wrong with you? I'm like, okay, cool. I'm actually, so like I said, I'm liking it. There's not a single thing about this episode I didn't like,
Yeah. And okay, so to stick with that somewhat too, right after that or right before it, I don't know, I can't remember. But this must be said about the Deep, my hatred for him, who we see do some more sex shit. Most of his jokes on the entire show is just sex shit or him being weirdly into sex shit or whatever the fuck. But he comes inside this girl while he's looking at fish, literally in like 45 seconds of their sex thing. And it's just stupid because it's like, ha ha, he comes fast. Like, okay, like, cool. Like, I don't know, man.
Yeah.
Huey, and this is where I'm like starting to get really fucking mad because then Huey tells Starlight that he's back with Butcher. Tells her that he's going to be busy doing shit with him. And Starlight's like, dude, you're doing this now while I'm dealing with shit. Like, I'm trying to be co-captain. I'm fucking scared to death of Homelander. He might kill, rape, torture me, whatever the fuck he could do. And you're doing this now, and Huey just admits that Butcher's been right all along and says, he's going to prioritize him. And it's like, bro, like, why is this show consistently doing this where, like, with Huey, I don't know how, like, in universe, would she not leave him? He has no powers. He probably has a small dick. Like, he fucking got over his dead girlfriend dying in front of him, like, within 2 episodes of that fucking first season. He's always in the way. He's always an obstacle. He's a fucking weak little boy bitch. Fuck this guy. Like, I want Stargirl to cheat on him so much.
Well, the thing is like, again, I don't think just because somebody's weak doesn't necessarily give you an excuse to cheat. Leaving
Not
him,
cheat,
whatever.
but leaving him. I want her to dump him.
The thing is, as far as that's concerned, like, she clearly was like, they spent a lot of time. They didn't just suddenly like, hey, let's just fucking suddenly be together. Like, it took like a long time before they actually started to really see each other, because she sees, like, at the end of the day, he is trying his best. Like, deep down, he is fundamentally a good person because he is trying his best. But she's starting to see the uglier side of him, that the more scared side, because fear makes you do a lot of really stupid shit. So she sees, like, this is just a lot of him being afraid. I'm not sure exactly where he fits in his life, because you start to see their whole couple dynamic in the morning. He can't open a fucking jar, whatever the fuck.
It's like, come on, dude. Like, no girl wants to do that shit for him.
But that's what I mean. That's why he's trying so much to try to solve the problems. That's why he's going back with Butcher, because Butcher, when he was working with Butcher, that was the only time he ever felt like he had any sort of power. Sure, he's the puppy dog to Butcher, but he also solved a lot of problems.
Now I know why you hang out with me and Ganja.
Not at all. I hate you both so goddamn fucking much. But like,
look, I can't get over the fact that he defends Aquaman, right?
I know.
I can't defend the fact that you actually think Green Lantern is the biggest loser in DC. You probably only like him because
that's a win. I don't know.
But it's one of those things where it's like, yeah, he falls down because that's the only time he's ever felt powerful, and that's what he's trying to do. Especially the fact that he thinks the first episode, he was like, on his high horse, because like, fuck yeah, I'm doing the right thing. You're my bitch. He basically was saying that to him. And then he realizes his boss is an evil bitch. He's like, oh fuck, his whole life's a lie. So he goes right back to the only place he's ever felt any sort of power. And that's what I like about this episode. Like, people are regressing very much so, and it makes sense because like, he was in a lot of death. So it makes sense that he's like, look, man, I can't protect you. I can't do anything. He's probably thinking what you is like, why the fuck are you still with me? I ain't got shit going on. Why the fuck are you still here? That's why he probably thinks she's going to cheat on him, because it's like, he's like, look, I know what I look like. I know what I am. So he's trying to get any sort of power that he can. And the only time he's ever felt power is when he's with the boys.
I guess, but it's just I don't know. Like I got really irritated with him, but I mean I feel like that's gonna be the case no matter what happens now. That's just my fucking least favorite character in the entire series. But when I was really disliking this episode because of all these things, there was finally a scene that saved it, and for the third fucking time in a row, it was a scene with Homelander. He's over there eating disgusting things with his team, including the Deep, and he forces the Deep, or at least shames him, into eating some seafood. And while Deep is eating this, he's literally gagging, being upset because he can obviously speak with these fucking seafood things.
Yo.
And he's like, "Oh my god, he's praying," as he sinks his fucking teeth into it. And I was like, "This is the first time I'm literally like really emoting on behalf of the Deep." But it's hilarious.
Same here. Because like it's one of those things where it's like, yeah, okay, he's the butt of the joke. They did the whole, oh, I'm gonna buy the lobster, and the guy murders the lobster. Oh, I heard him scream type shit. The whole joke they've been doing since season fucking 1. But this time, it's like seeing the wife going, "What the fuck?" Mouthing, "What the fuck are you doing? Just fucking do it." Because she's like, "Hey, get in good with Homelander." And him is just like, that's just really like it's the first time the show's actually managed to make you feel sympathy for this character, like genuine sympathy. Because every other time it's like, "Oh God, it's fucking skip." With this, like, yo, this is really bad. Because Homelander's realizing, look, I don't want to threaten people with violence anymore. I don't have to. I could just fuck over your entire life and they'll applaud me for it. So he just starts doing that to everybody. He's like, I can say and do whatever the fuck I want. I don't have to threaten to murder you. You're going to eat some fucking thing while it screams for his fucking life. I'm going to fat shame you. Go fuck yourself.
Yeah. But then like he's still kind of like, not subservient, but he's really like, maybe be careful with the Starlight shit. You know what I mean? Which I thought was kind of like interesting. Yeah. But overall, dude, I'm going to give this episode 2.5 out of 5. I think that kind of sucked. Honestly, the Homelander thing really saved it quite a bit. But, like, notice one thing I hadn't brought up this whole episode. Nadia. I thought that was a storyline. What happened?
Oh, no, it's an interesting storyline, but they're clearly saving it for later. Because, again, these episodes are kind of blend together, because I literally watched episode 1, 2, and 3 in one sitting. Like, I just binged it because I couldn't stop watching. But the interesting thing with Nadia is you can tell that she was the major... She's basically in a situation where she's a hidden secret weapon. They're not quite. I think the show knows exactly what they're going to do, but as far as right now, the audience, they're not quite sure what she's going to be useful for. But clearly, she is a ace in the hole because we know her power. At this point, we know what her power is, but we don't know what the limitations are. We know that supers can get murdered by the power because we saw it, but we don't know who it can affect and what it can be used for. So we're essentially seeing her as like, is she a kryptonite to Homelander? Can she actually hurt Homelander? We don't know that yet because they've never really been in episode 4. They're in the same room, but they've never been in the same room prior. So, or just in general, it's like, can she be like a nuclear deterrent to anybody? Can we replicate her power and use that in general? So I think right now the show is keeping her like, we're going to keep her storyline going, but we're going to keep her in the background because she might be the next future villain. We don't know, as an audience member, we don't really know, especially episode 4, but I was liking all the stuff they're doing there when they're going into there, giving, I keep forgetting the dude's name, but giving the leader of Vought, him just way more
Stan
to
Edgar.
do. Yes, Dan Edgar.
He even tells him, like, hey, like, you listen to Starlight. Like, she has a better approval rating. Like, I don't give a fuck what you say, Homelander. Like, go fuck yourself.
Yeah, because, like, Homelander just murdered this guy. And he goes, sorry, you were saying something? I don't fucking like you. Go, here's a bottle. Like, he just fucking... And you're just like, yo, how are you not dead? How are you not dead? Every time he talks, how have you not been murdered by this man?
Yeah. So I love him, too.
In the flashback episode, flashback. We didn't even talk about that. Like the young Stan Edgar was fucking perfect. I didn't even tell me who he was. As soon as he does the whole hand motion, I'm like, yo, you perfectly got the mannerisms down, man.
Yeah, dude. Brightburn, let me read this really quick, and then you can give your numeric rating. But he's like, biggest loser of DC is Martian Manhunter because like Batman sent Justice League the New Frontier at 50,000 radioactive slither of meteorite to deal with one from Chop.
Okay, so I know what he's saying. Basically, in Justice League Frontier, very good DC anime movie. Go ahead and watch it. Basically, Batman, the Justice League is being formed, and people are starting to go together. But Batman's basically going and saying like, hey, I like you, I trust you. But I can fuck you over if I need to. And he says, I have a $50,000 sliver that can take down the man from Metropolis. But when it comes to you, I think I only need 1 cent for a match because not necessarily a weakness, but Martian Manhunter's, it's like a Jason with water. It scares the fuck out of him, makes him go catatonic because it reminds him of his people burning. So anytime he sees fire, he's like, holy shit, it really affects his fucking power. So, but that doesn't really make him a loser. That he's just suffering from PTSD. Martian Manhunter is one of the most powerful people in the entire DC fucking mythos. Like, he's fucking awesome.
Yeah. Oh, wow, this is the bomb. Yeah, so we're going to talk about that. Holy shit. Yeah, dude. The whole supersonic, what you told A-Train, like, we'll get into that in a minute. Supersonic is Alex, right?
Yeah. Sorry, yeah.
Yeah. Sorry. Well, some of these names, Stormfront. And
That's
all
like I said.
that,
Some of the names confuse me. So
Yeah,
it's like I
but-
recognize that guy, but his name's like, oh shit.
Yeah. But anyways, but numerically, what would you rate this episode? I give it 2.5 out of 5. What would you rate it?
4.5. This is my favorite episode. I liked episode 4, but this is like my favorite one because
Wow,
everything's
that's my least
hitting.
favorite one. That's crazy.
Everything's hitting. Everything's going. The flashback was fucking great. I love. Look, I know you don't like Soldier Boy, but to me, it's like as far as a character, I don't really know about him. I just like my boy Jensen Ackles is getting screen time, man. Because this man just finished 15 seasons of Supernatural. I'm like, oh, he's never gonna get career again. Nah, the motherfucker just walked right into another show, and like they're making kind of schlubby Captain America or dumbass / racist Captain America, but it works pretty well. They're doing a lot of stuff. Kimiko is like, we haven't even talked about Kimiko at all. She is like my favorite, like she's one of my favorite characters. She is adorable. I fucking love her, though she's terrifying because she'll just murder a man like with anything and everything. But like, again, everything with her and Frenchie is fucking great. Everything with Butcher and Huey is continuing to be amazing. Seeing how they clearly know what they're doing and they're confident that they're going to continue getting seasons. That's why they're putting a lot of stuff where it's like, yeah, let's say Homelander, like I don't know what's going to happen. Let's say Homelander dies this season and they get rid of him. This show can keep going. There's so much that they're setting up, especially with the Compound V, Stan Edgar, Nadia. There's so much that if they wanted to, they could go. I don't think they should go 20 fucking seasons, but they could easily go 5, 6, 7 seasons before they're like, you know what, The Boys is over.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm happy that was your favorite one. But guys, hey, that wasn't my favorite one. But now, like, and I'm not saying that this next episode is my favorite, but I will say a lot of the things I've been really upset about with this fucking show is like there's so many storylines. I'm scatterbrained. Oh my god, what the fuck are we over here? It's like not making fun of anybody, but it's like the show is like being inside of someone's kid who has like attention disorder, and they're just like, I want to play with this, and just doing that shit. And finally, we have like a goalpost for all these stories to get together and move forward, including with A-Train in the Deep. They get into a whole fucking thing in this episode. That's not how it starts off, by the way. But like, halfway through it, they get into a whole thing where they're like, A-Train's getting like fucking fat shamed again. Deep is fucking with them. He's like, man, fuck you. I'm sick of your goddamn shit. You're always kissing fucking Homelander's ass, blah, blah. And they get into a big thing. I was like, okay, the joke's still there. He's still getting fat shamed. Deep's still looking pathetic, whatever. But it makes sense what they're doing now. Now they're fighting. Now like they're connected. And I don't have to waste all this extra time seeing these stupid filler fucking things going on because they are now canon to the current prioritized storyline. Did you like that at all? Did you like the Deep
I loved
and
it.
A-Train?
Because because you start to see that, like, because at first I thought the wife was fucking with him because she thinks he's pathetic, but it's like, no, the wife is basically almost being like his agent. She's trying to basically make him look good at all times so that she, stay in there, good ratings, all that stuff, because they're together. And seeing that situation where he brings up, because in episode 3, his brother calls him out, like, you're the fakest motherfucker in the goddamn fucking world. Like, what the fuck are you doing with all this, pro-woke shit that you clearly don't fucking believe? And he goes, here's some actual real shit. And they're showing, like, basically, like, it's an allegory for cops on patrol being the shit out of people in black neighborhoods just because they fucking can. He's like, hey, why don't you fucking do this? So when A-Train brings that up and you start to see the wife basically text him and mouthing that, he's like, oh, what's up? He makes the Deep look good. And even Homeland, well, yeah. He actually said a good point. Like, he's like, the fuck? Like, he didn't understand that. And again, you see them being pissed. It makes sense because these characters are basically like, everyone thinks the Deep is pathetic, but imagine the most pathetic person in the world roasting you. You're like, fuck this dude. I'm gonna beat the shit out of him.
Yeah. No, I felt like that was kind of a cool thing too about that whole situation because like you gotta realize that like unspoken, but like Homelander and all that shit have a lot to do with these scenes and Starlight because Homelander's connected to Starlight and Starlight's connected to Supernova, whatever the fuck his name is, like Alex. So it's like all these things are like as much as me and Alan are talking about A-Train and Deep. It's branching out and it's so perfect because now everyone grows. But even so, like there's one slight little thing going on with Marvin, where and that's how the show opens up or the episode opens up. He's kind of like being emphasized because he's watching old tapes of Soldier Boy being on like some Soul Train type show or whatever, and he's the guy who like killed like people that like Marvin knew. I think family.
His dad.
Yeah, his dad. So I was like, oh shit, like now we're learning more about him. And they've brought that up before, but to see him like sit there and get mad, I was like, fuck yeah, because I do like Marvin. But now we can't really, I don't want to spoil this. I almost like the thing that happens with Huey and Butcher. Should we spoil that or no?
Because
Because it's gonna be a big thing in episode 5. So
Yeah.
I feel like
because there's a lot. We can honestly we can have a most because that's really the end of the episode. So we can really talk about like a lot of the stuff that ends up going on like before we get to right the end. Then we be like, hey, spoiler tag.
yeah, at the very
we
end
start-
we'll talk about what happens because it is separate
Yeah.
than our main like thing. But something happened that really made me like, oh, fuck this show. But then let's see what happens. So we'll
Yeah,
get into that at the
'cause-
very, very end.
Yeah, because basically what ends up happening is as they realize like, hey, Soldier Boy is Russian took him. Basically, they get the story told by the general in the episode, and it's like, okay, Soldier Boy might be dead, but we know that the Russians took him. Okay, cool. We got to go to Russia. Who's our Russian connect? Frenchie's dealing with that other person. He doesn't want to go back to his old life, drugs and smoking, whatever the fuck. So they go through, make a deal.
By the way, people, don't look in the chat. If you're listening, don't look in the chat because someone just spoiled it. But I understand why he spoiled it. So, yeah. So we'll talk more about that.
Yeah, they go to Russia, and as a result of in order to basically the price tag to go into Russia, they have to Kimiko has to continue to do violence, and she's clearly very good at it. But you can start to see like even her character's like, look, man, I'm sick of being a weapon. I'm sick of being. She basically goes, Richard, I'm not your fucking gun. And he goes, yes, the fuck you are. And it's like you start to see like this character isn't able to speak, and she emotes so goddamn often, and you start to see it's like she feels again with the episode she feels like the safest character because she can't get killed. So it's like okay, you don't have to really worry about it, but you still like it's weird because you don't have to worry about whether or not she's gonna live or die. Because every other boy you're like, oh, are they gonna live or are they gonna die? You don't know.
Yeah.
But when it comes to Kimiko, you're like, okay, she could survive anything. We've seen her get her fucking neck snapped and she's fine. But you start to see emotionally, she doesn't want to be this person anymore. And she's trying to get an out, but seeing her being constantly put in these situations, you're like, fuck, like it sucks because you don't want to see a character that's like she probably is a good person, but she's constantly put in a situation where it's just to murder people and just being sent into a really fucking decent ass fight was just really fucking interesting because it's like you start to see the degradation of this character as well while they figure out like, okay, cool, we know where we're going and we're gonna go basically try to figure out what fucking killed Soldier Boy. Like we're trying to find the gun.
Yeah, so let's get our ratings, and then we'll talk about not only that Soldier Boy thing, and then we'll talk about the thing with Homelander.
Sure.
So me, I give this a 4 out of 5 because of the fact that, like I'm the things that I like about it, I can only say in our spoiler talk, which literally will be only 5 minutes right after we talk about this. But yeah, there's a lot I didn't like. I didn't like that they brought up Nadia again, but like she just walks in the hallway and says something, then that's it. It's like, oh, what the fuck? And then the stuff that we find about Soldier Boy, as Chris said in the chat, and we'll talk about more of that, like I said, spoilers. But the reason why this is a little bit like it's not like a 4.5 or a 5 out of 5 is because they meandered around a particular topic that was already getting stick up for fucking 3 episodes before this, and then now that means nothing. Like, as a comic book shit loves to do that, where just something just build, and now all that doesn't matter. Now we're this, and I'm like, this is why. When the fucking comic book movies have like a one sequel or whatever, I'm already like, you know what? I wash my hands of this because you're only gonna get stupid. There's only one fucking option for you motherfuckers when it comes to these goddamn movies and these TV shows. You're gonna get fucking stupid because you can't be creative, and that really pissed me off because that means that the show was literally lying to me, just to have a fucking reveal, and that's ridiculous to me. But still, we'll talk about it in 2 minutes after Alan's numeric review. But yeah, for me, 4 out of 5. Could have been better. Alan, what'd you think?
See, I want to give this a 4 because I love the episode. The only thing I'm gonna give it 3.75 because I loved every single thing about the episode. It was fucking amazing. But we'll talk about the spoiler. I'll bring it specifically. They basically there's a character that literally she might as well just be Roman Reigns. You could solve this problem right now, but you don't want to, just so we can have a different reveal. I'm like, really? Did you really need that? Like, I get what ended up happening, but you could have solved this problem. Why are you not solving this problem? Oh no, we need this other situation to happen. I'm like, okay, whatever. But again, it redeems it. But I do have to take a quarter point out because I still love the episode. Everything with Homelander, becoming Mr. Steal Your Girl. I think that was in episode 3 where it's like, okay, no, like this guy will fuck over your life and get applauded for it. So it's like continuing that shit where he's getting more and more unstable. Homelander is still continuing to be one of the best villains in this fucking show. But I gotta take a couple points off because I'm like, you just set up this thing just so you can have a different reveal. I'm like, that was kind of lame, honestly.
Yeah, and it's also just being disrespectful to the audience. You don't fuck with people's time like that. Every episode's an hour long. You can't tell us this thing over and over and then focus everything around it. And, okay, so I'm going to just end the sentence by saying, guys, you got 3 seconds to get the fuck out of here. 3, 2, 1. The
Run,
big reveal.
Bitches, run!
Soldier Boy is alive.
Oh yeah, I knew that from that first episode.
I did not know that.
I was like, that motherfucker ain't dead, man. They literally just say he's almost as strong as fucking. They almost say he's almost as strong as fucking Homelander. And I'm like, for the most part, these guys don't really age. Or at least they age very slowly. I'm like, they're gonna have him in flashbacks, but like, I just had this gut feeling he's not dead because there's a storyline that there's a storyline in literature where because history's so muddled, you don't actually know who lives or who dies, especially with episode 3. Oh no, he flew off. I'm like. Trust me, this show when it kills people, it fucking kills people. So I'm like, if he's dead, because like trust me, what fucking gunpowder dies in fucking episode 1, and they fucking murder the shit out of him. We're on spoiler talk now. Alice gets fucking murked. Honestly, yeah. I didn't expect that. You know what I expected? I expected Starlight to fucking cheat on because like the universe gonna fuck with Huey, but the fact that he got really fucking murdered and it's A-Train's fault, that fucking little goddamn snitch, fuck that guy. But Homelander being alive, like I had a feeling he was going to be alive.
Homelander for sure being alive. You mean
Soldier Boy? Sorry, Soldier Boy.
Like Homelander was alive the whole time? I can't believe I thought he was a zombie.
No, the reason I thought that is because in my mind, I'm like, they're gonna fight. For the first time, I'm like, they are going to fight because they said it from the get-go. He's almost as strong as Homelander. So part of me is like, does that mean they're gonna fight? But they say he's dead. He's probably not dead. So as soon as I thought, I'm like, oh, okay, I was right.
Yeah. So yeah, I'll give my opinion on that now. Because there's a lot to take in. Firstly, I think the Soldier Boy thing was bullshit because you've been telling us and beating into our heads to the point where it's almost like echoing, like, oh my god, like again, like you can't even say Soldier Boy without saying death or something happened or whatever the fuck. It was just ridiculous to me. So, but he just says they must up and kill a Mexican superhero guy. Yeah, that's okay. Thank you, Automod. But yeah, that's a fine statement.
What?
Yeah, okay, I guess they thought Legion was being racist or something. I was like, no, people are Mexican too, and they die sometimes. What the fuck? But Twitch doing your job though, that's pretty cool. Anyways, but no, like the biggest thing about that Soldier Boy thing is just like you can't. I've already had to accept. Let's just pretend I did accept that Butcher is taking Compound V, and then the next dweller here, Huey, is also taking Compound V.
Yeah.
So now we got 2 fucking crackheads, doing this shit. And the thing that's frustrating about this is like the whole reason why this show is like scary because of all these other guys and like they're humans, so if Homelander comes they can fuck them up, or anybody would come there they can fuck them up. But they can just take a fucking drug. Yeah, fuck yeah, now I can do it. It's like, well then fuck season 1, season 2 then.
No, because the thing is well, they couldn't have done that because this is the first time it's been introduced. 2, we don't actually know the side effects because they say they even say in the first episode we're still getting the kinks out. This does change the game. It's essentially the situation where everyone's fighting with spears now. Suddenly we just introduced a gun. We don't know what the consequences are because we see when he's coming down from it, he is throwing up green and he's acting a fool. We don't know how that's affecting him psychologically. Hell, we even see the episode like Kimiko is fucking dying in the back and Huey's just like strung out going, oh man, this shit's dope, yo. Like it's affecting him psychologically. So we don't actually know because it's only been because they say 24 hours of superpowers. So whatever your superpower would have been if you actually took the V as a kid, you get there. So he probably would have had not necessarily Homelander powers, but he would have been very similar in that sense. Huey would have been Ant-Man basically. But we don't know what's going to happen afterwards because they're grown adults. Their bodies are essentially fully formed. They don't have the growth that his kid's going to have to be able to get used to the powers. But seeing that, I'm like, to me, I was like, I can't, like, I understood why he did that. Because to me, it's like, he has that conversation, like, dude, because again, everyone's like, oh, shit on Huey. When Homelander basically steals his girl on national fucking television, and he in the room, Huey actually steps up to him. I'm like, oh, shit. Because I was like, he actually stepped up to him. Like, even Homelander's like, okay, fuck, I did not think he had a ball there. Holy shit. And he's kind of almost laughing because it's like, obviously, Huey can't fucking do anything. But the fact that he was even willing to, I'm like, okay. And then we see that gets right back in episode 4 going, like, he almost lays me in half and there's nothing I can do. And she had to fucking save me again. It makes sense. Like, I'm going to fucking take it. I'm like, oh, of course I knew he took it. It's just like, it's the corruption arc we're seeing with Huey where it's like, fuck. Now he's going to basically be addicted to it because, what was it? He doesn't have the same hatred level as Butcher does. Butcher's like, look, I'm just doing this for a means to an end. I hate superheroes. Huey was loving it, which means he's actually addicted. Whereas Butcher's like, oh, I'll do it when I need to. I'm good when I don't. Huey's like, no, he's probably going to be a situation where he's going to use his connections to keep getting the power.
And he's so fucking annoying that would be the perfect annoying person thing to do, is to be like, you know what, now I'm going to be another obstacle by being addicted to the shit that I've been against this whole time, that everyone's been telling me not to get addicted to.
Well,
because
again,
I want to be like
first,
Big Boy fucking Butcher. God
well, that's
damn it, I hate
exactly
that
what that's
motherfucker, man.
exactly the character. But think about it. First time someone's like, "Oh, I'll never drink," on the love that they take a shot. Holy shit, this is incredible. Then they become an
But
alcoholic.
I hate people who fucking do that shit. Like, that's like not to go into like how I feel about fucking people in general, but it's like I hate with that one person who's like, I don't like drugs and I don't like when you do it, and then they, as soon as they get the availability to do so, then they're just like, oh, now I get to take your fucking personality and put it on me, and woo, yay, I'm an adult for 10 minutes.
Yeah, it's not necessarily a good personality, but it makes sense for the character because again, he's always felt like he doesn't belong. So now he's situation where it's like, I have powers now.
Actually,
he doesn't have
shit, that's you too, by the way. I just realized that, like, because when you go to parties, you kind of lose your shit. I want to bring up like how, but you be losing your shit. I'm like,
oh, you can say that. I'm fucking wrong.
yeah, Ganja's Butcher, you're Huey.
No, Ganja's not Butcher. Ganja's like Frenchie.
Well, I mean, like, just for this particular reference.
No, you're definitely Butcher because that would be you. You're like, oh, fucking powers are stupid as shit, but I'll use that to beat the shit out of this guy. And then I come back, I want fucking powers, man. I'm trying to be short.
Yeah, dude.
Like,
you should watch the Boys cartoon. What's that shit called?
Nope. The Diabolical.
Yeah, dude. There's an episode about that right there, and it made me.
Oh, I'm
almost
good. I'm not
cry.
doing that. If you tell, I'm not doing that. If my fucking head explodes. Like, but if I get some extra powers, yeah.
I'll be right back. And they're probably gonna end the show right after this, but I'll be right back, and you keep talking to people. I'll
yeah.
poo-poo.
But yeah, no, like
I
I hate you, but seeing that situation where it's like, oh, okay, seeing the power, it's like, yeah, it's a corruption arc. Seeing a character that not necessarily is like virtuous. He's still a relatively good person because he wants to, get vengeance for his love lost, and he's trying his best to stop like all this violence. But seeing a situation where he's probably going to get addicted to V, where like Butcher was able to deal with it because the fact that he hates superheroes so much, the idea of being one permanently, he just would never deal with. So it's able to get the addiction. Like he's not addicted to it. He's using it as a weapon, but he doesn't need to. Whereas Huey, like has his arm out the window, he's strung out on this shit. Yeah. So seeing it, well, because he has government connections now, he's probably gonna be a situation where he's gonna go to Naughty and go, "Hey, there's this compound V, let's investigate it." And then he's gonna fucking steal a bunch of it so that he can keep using the power, so they can keep being useful. Because that's all he ever wants to be. He just wants to fucking be useful. And now that he's on this situation where he's on that level, we get to see the true thing. Again, Huey maybe he ends up dying because, like someone said in the chat, this stuff is very experimental. Like it clearly still works, but we don't know what the long-term consequences because the characters haven't been on it for that long. Like what, 3 days? Like 2-3 days maybe? Like we don't know what happens in a week and a month. Like they might die. Like if the Diabolical is anything, I know that was probably a preamble to the Compound V. But if it's anything to indicate, they both Butcher. I don't think both Butcher and Huey are gonna die, but I think Huey might bite the bullet because he just gets so addicted to it. Or he's gonna want the blue stuff that'll give you permanent powers, and that might end up killing him.
Yeah, which that'd be fucking great if that happens. But people, that's gonna be it for our show. Now I know Corey's gonna start literally any second now. But tomorrow we'll probably talk about the Joker thing or whatever at that time because I don't want to spend any more time like, just keeping you guys in here and shit. I know it's like a late fucking show for all you guys, and they're like, well, this is a pre-show, so imagine the DVT shit. But really quick though, Jesus Christ, I got Compound V. I'm getting like I was addicted, and I'm like, oh, God, fuck.
I don't want to be short. Give me some of that shit.
But Ganja, like. As far as these long reviews, everything that we just did of the Boys, do you feel at any point at all that maybe like this kind of won you over slightly or no?
No, I'm good. I'm sorry. I got no superhero shit I'm gonna play. I don't need to adopt more of them.
No, I get you. And then Jed, really quick, I've been meaning to ask you this. So you pretty much know what the Compound V thing is, right?
No.
What?
I meant to unmute myself beforehand, and the longer I go from like not touching the screen or whatever, like my space button doesn't unmute, so I was trying to be fast and just straight up say no before you even got the question out.
I appreciate that, but like I'm still gonna ask you the question though, because I'm curious. If you had a chance to get this pill that you take and it gives you basically Superman powers, but the only problem is that when you come off of this particular drug, you're gonna be shitting, vomiting, diarrheaing.
I already do that.
I'm about to say she already does that.
So that even makes the question even more interesting because it's like, well, maybe it's not a big deal to even deal with those. So would you take that pill, Jed, or no?
I also have added on like that time of the month too. So I pretty much already go through this. So I mean, he gives me the power of Superman and shit.
Yeah.
Or like what?
Or any power you want. It could be Superman powers, or it could be like you get to read people's minds, or you can turn invisible.
Well, Well, considering that, like, I already go through the stuff that you already listed, what makes you think I haven't already taken the fucking pill and I just haven't told you guys?
Well,
Would
it'd be
explain
way
a
more
lot.
intense. It'd be way more intense. Like there's an episode where like the episode that I was referring to Alan earlier, and still this will be aimed at you, Jet. But it's like the episode that I'm more so talking about is someone doesn't like that they have pimples on their faces or whatever, and they wish they were taller, they wish they had muscles. So he takes it, and he's the sexiest person ever, and his face is perfect, and his dick is super long, like just with the perfect amount of length, like just whatever the girl would want. And then the next morning, he's not only sick and all that stuff, but then like more pimples come back, like double what he had before. And he's saggy, and he has man boobs, and he's smaller and shorter, and his dick don't work, and he's stinky, and he's just sick, and he feels awful until he takes it again. Would you be willing to go through all that, like just for special occasions? Like, hey, I want to be the best Jet I possibly can, and I want fucking powers. I'm gonna take that shit, even though when I come down off of it, I'm gonna be weaker than I was originally without it.
That is half the stuff you listed is literally just being on your period.
Well, God's been really mean to y'all.
Yeah. And man, I still even with seeing this shit, like even with my insecurities and wishing I was taller, more attractive, whatever the fuck, I ain't ever doing that shit because what?
No.
You a bitch. I will still never take V, even the V24, because at the end of the day, it's like it's the consequences. It's the negative consequences, which we still don't know. But let's say it was feature perfect. Take the idea of taking an immediate just drug to suddenly fix everything. It's like, no, I'd rather work on them myself and just deal with that without necessarily getting like a cheat code. Like I don't think I need a cheat code to fucking fix my life up. And that at the end of the day is a cheat code. So
how about you, Ganja? Would you do it? Compound V?
Fuck it. Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah, actually, I just asked Ganja. He
This
has shit that makes him
motherfucker shoots up
sleepy. He takes shit that makes him sleepy and doesn't do shit. Like I'm gonna take something that makes me fast forward 4 hours.
This motherfucker will shoot up crayons if he can get him high.
Actually,
Look, hey, what you don't understand is those Crayolas, bro. If you get it just the right amount, that should be hitting.
Wait, you didn't answer the question, Nick. Would you?
Oh fuck yeah.
Oh, okay, I was about to say. I thought maybe
hate
you
myself.
would.
That shit was asked like it's a suppository.
Yeah, like honestly, dude, I fucking like kind of hate.
Oh, so I'm the only one in the chat tech crew that wouldn't take it.
Yeah,
you're a
pretty
bitch.
much. And by the way, you know what's funny is like I don't know if Jet and Ganja are with me here, but I'm pretty sure we all don't believe you about that. No, you would still fucking do it. Like,
I technically didn't even actually give an answer.
Oh, I thought you said yes.
No, I just said that I already go through those symptoms.
Okay, would you take it then?
I already go through those symptoms.
Yeah. But would you go through it?
I already,
This is
I
why
already
I
go
didn't
through those
ask again.
symptoms.
That's why I didn't ask.
I don't know why I fell for that.
Yeah.
Well,
To be honest though, like I actually I did fall for it and then got smart to it and then fell for it again. So I'm like double the stupid.
You are.
But
I don't know. Like, believe me or not, this literally is the most hypothetical ever because this shit isn't real. But like at the end of the day, it's like a cheat code to fix life. It's like that's the whole thing of like, oh, 3 wishes. What the fuck would you wish for? It's like that'd be almost the same kind of level. It's just like if there's no negative consequence, still then it's just like at the end of the day I wouldn't feel right. Like, oh, I got
no negative
taller.
consequences is a negative consequence too, by the way. People don't bring that up, but it's like
What do you mean?
well, like I mean, not to get too philosophical and shit, especially now.
Actually,
I'm dying.
didn't we watch a movie that's basically the that whole pill thing or whatever?
yeah,
like
that was-
unlocks your fucking.
Oh, limit?
like,
No,
Limitless.
was it Limitless?
Yeah, it was Limitless. That movie fucking
Yeah.
sucked.
Well, that movie sucked, but the book that was on it, which I didn't read, but I read most of like what the
Yeah.
synopsis were and what people were saying, and it was not like the movie at all. It was actually really, really interesting. But then still, there's a problem with that though, because like, like I would like to be like honestly, who the fuck would say they don't want to be Superman? I would love to just do that. But then it's like, if I was completely, invincible or whatever the fuck, would you not care about shit anymore? Like for one, too, like there's something really that no one brings up that's horribly upsetting about Omni-Man. That's why I love this character so fucking much. But there's no way, like, when he sincerely tells his wife, like, I fucking love you, like, I love, like, a pet cat, like, how you love a pet cat, I love you like that, because I'm gonna marry, like, 5, 6 other women. Like, you are such a small part of my life, and that's not my fault. I'm alive for 1,000 fucking years. Why would I give a fuck about you? You know what I mean? Like, and it's kind of like he doesn't get to, like, grow old and die with somebody and naturally like I love you too.
I mean, he could with his own people, but his people don't really do that.
Yeah. So imagine like how fucking hard it is to be Omni-Man. Like that sounds like torture. Like,
Oh no,
falling in
poor
love for
Omni-Man.
80 years and seeing someone get old and tired and weak and probably cancer or illness or whatever. Like
It is one of those things with Immortals where you start to see it's like they've seen the death of civilization so much, so they start to become numb to it. That is one of the things that's like, yeah, when it comes to immortality, but I would never want to be immortal because of that situation.
Yeah,
but living a very long time would be, yeah, I could stomach that shit. But it's like, it's like, do I want to be Superman? Fuck no. If I were to have a power, like tell me what power, I'd the Flash. That should be dope as hell. You know,
ooh, I got a good question for Jet. Jet,
Hello.
if you're Omni Girl, oh, by the way, cosplay is that. That sounds fucking awesome. But anyways, yeah, and then I'll still call you Daddy. But the thing is, though,
and everything?
yeah, yes, that would be
What?
great. With a mustache, fucking Jet just at the bed, just
Jet would wear a mustache.
she was, she's so.
I have.
But I think, or my question was,
The whole time, just not my tempo.
oh yeah, you're right, because J.K. Simmons. But no, but with Jet though, I was gonna ask you if you had the whole thing about like living forever, or whatever the fuck. How old would you let me get before you're kind of like, I'm gonna move on now? Like, you know, you're too old. I'm not gonna sit here with all my powers and my sexiness and fuck you while you're a 72-year-old man with balls that hang down to your knees. Like, at what point would you leave me, age-wise?
40.
What the fuck?
So what? Tomorrow?
This is bullshit.
Well,
We're
hey,
gonna end
you
the
got
fucking
9
show.
good years or 8 good years.
We got something to talk about. God fucking damn it. Give me a real fucking answer. My heart's broken. Give me a real answer.
150.
Because I miss you, babe, and I don't want to miss a thing.
She said 150. That's bullshit, but I'm taking that. I feel
I
great
you
now.
live to 150. Holy shit.
Maybe she helps me out. You know, she rubs my back with her Omni-Man.
No, she gives you just start drinking her blood from her wrist.
Nah, she would like that too.
Oh
just
wait,
to
are you
know.
talking about if we were both like
No, like
we both-
I'm normal, but you have the power, so you're there forever. But like I
age
age
is like a
how
normal
I am.
person.
Yeah. So like literally.
38.
Yeah, this doesn't get better. Okay, all right, people.
You keep asking her, it's gonna be like 29.
I know.
It's like, what, you
She's
left me
gonna
3 years ago?
realize at the end of the conversation, it's like, actually, how old are you now? Yeah, this was kind of.
Yeah, this is a good limit.
Yeah, it don't get better from this. Actually, it will though. Fucking when I'm 34, you guys are gonna look at me and be like, "Damn, he's still ugly."
Yeah, 3 years ago, he'll be great.
Yeah, fucking shit. That would suck if I'm like looking my best when I'm 40 and I'm like, oh, I don't want to do nothing. But I'm, you know.
Okay, yeah, people don't die at 42 no matter what Ganja wants. Like, people live for fucking 85. Like, they're 50. Dude, Keanu Reeves still making John Wick movies. That man's
Oh,
70.
don't bring up your.
I
Savior
will
in
bring him
Christ.
up. You
This
bring up.
dick's hard
Okay,
now. We're
fine.
talking about Keanu
Undertaker's.
Reeves.
Okay, fine. Undertaker's still doing his
Undertaker
goddamn
was
fucking-
old by the time he was 32.
That's what I mean. He's still doing his fucking thing. He
He
still has a
ain't.
huge
He's
ass
at
forehead.
home. He's tired.
Yeah, the
He's a
man's like
tired
85
man.
years old. He's still doing his thing.
That
Stone Cold's
motherfucker's
still doing his
the
thing.
Crypt Keeper now.
Yeah.
Undertaker, he's
It
the
always
Crypt Keeper.
was.
But anyways, guys, all right, we're out of here. I love you guys very much. Thank you for being here. I know it was a long show, but it was super cool. And more so, like, you know, hey, Chad, yeah, you guys are great. I love you, whatever. But more so, Ganja, Jet, and Alan, thank you so much for staying with me tonight. Because if I was by myself, I don't know how long I can hold people here playing fucking Call of Duty for an hour. That would have been fucking ridiculous. So thank you so much, guys. You know, Jet, thank you.
Welcome.
No problem, my friend.
Ganja, thank you.
No problem.
Alan, fuck you.
I was gonna tell you to fuck off first, but yeah, here we are.
No, I knew. You're probably looking down on his phone trying to be like, what insults? Just say, oh, no, you fat fuck. I'm going to throw you down the stairs.
My Rolodex of insults.
Yeah.
I'm just dealing with your shit. Yeah, you fucking butcher. Why don't you go shoot up some V?
Man, I wish. People, that being
And
said,
I'm
we're
gonna
out of
poorly
here.
open up a jar of fucking whatever.
I can see that happening. Alan just like, hey, can you please
Look,
open
I
this
can
up?
open up a jar of bullshit, okay?
Actually, I think I had Jed do that for me once. I'm not even going to lie. That fucking sucks.
Really mad about that.
Also, too, like, Jed has to, like, put things together for me and, like, do IKEA shit. God, I'm a fucking loser. People, goodbye.
So you're Huey and she's Starlight.
And as long as no one is here to hear that. Don't ever bring that up again. All right, guys. Bye-bye. Talk to you tomorrow. See ya.